And we are live. Welcome to the second live stream for the Season 2 finals of Screeps Arena. Screeps Arena is the game where the players compete by writing code. So it's not about having the fastest APM, it's not about having the best reaction speed or anything like that. It's about who can write the best code. The code is already submitted, and no edits are allowed, and there's no manual intervention either. Which means that you might see some funny little moments with some of these bots as well. Before we dive straight into it, I first of all want to make a quick apology for yesterday. So yesterday we covered the basic version of Capture the Flag, and unfortunately I forgot to cover the advanced version and to show those streams. I in particular want to apologize to the players who put so much effort into developing the bots for those. The results are available to be seen, but unfortunately, due to the time constraints, we decided not to go ahead and show those on the live stream today. And again, I'm sincerely apologizing for that. That is entirely my fault. O4 was messaging me on the Discord telling me about it. Unfortunately, I wasn't checking it at the time. Now I have the Discord open on my phone, so hopefully that won't happen again. And again, I'm very sorry about that. I'd like to also thank everyone who gave me some feedback from yesterday. Hopefully we're going to do a few changes that should make the stream a bit more enjoyable and accessible to people who also aren't familiar with Screeps as well. I will deliberately try and keep on talking about the rules as we keep going. So, today's arena that we're looking at is called Power Split. Now, Power Split is a bit different to what we saw yesterday because in this arena, players can collect resources and then use those resources to make new units, which are called creeps in this game, which they can then use to attack their opponent. The goal of this game is to kill off your opponent's spawn, so it's a lot more combat focused. Additionally, and here's the really fun part, is there's 3 flags that each player gets. Now, they can walk one of their units onto those flags and capture it. And when they do so, it gives all of their units a bonus. But, here's the catch, they can only do one of the 3 flags available to them. So it's up to the player to decide which one has the most value. So the 3 flags are a red flag, which boosts all attacks parts. There is, a red flag for the attack parts. There's a blue flag for the ranged attack parts. And there's a green flag for heal. So just as a quick recap, attack parts can only hit in a range of 1. Ranged attack can hit in a range of 3, but also attack everything within that range of 3 as another option for their attack, And then a heal part, those can heal the damage your unit suffered either at range or for more healing in melee distance. Additionally, apart from these resources that they have right next to their spawn, there are other resources dotted over the map that the players will have to fight for as well. So, let's dive into it and look at the first game. So, just as a quick heads up, we are going to be going a little bit faster today. So one of the feedbacks I got was the stream was a little bit long. So especially for the 8th finals, we might be going a little bit faster through the games, and I will keep my commentary probably more minimal and play at a higher speed. But don't worry, when it comes to the big matches like the semi-finals and the finals, we will definitely take our time with that. So the first game has just been run, and we have Meow, Kitty, Wow. I'm just going to call you Kitty for the sake of brevity. And we have Drake. So for the first 8th final game, let's get going. Okay, so this is our arena. Now, I just want to talk very briefly about this arena before we get into it. There is this very narrow area that the creeps will have to pass through in order to get to their opponent's base, and we might see some interesting dynamics playing out from that. But in the bottom left-hand corner here, we have Kitty, and in the top right-hand corner, we have Drake. So, in 3, 2, 1, let the game begin. Okay, and immediately off to the start, we're going to see Drake capturing his ranged attack flag over there. So this is going to, again, boost all of his ranged attack units. He has sent out what this here is a harvester unit, so this has 1 carry and 3 work, and then he's using this creep here to shuttle the resources backwards and forwards, bringing in a second harvester there to boost his economy. In the bottom here, we also see that Kitty has also taken the ranged attack bonus, and is also using a very similar strategy to harvest the resources. Now, these sources here, they do contain this energy, and this will regenerate at 10 units per tick, but you can harvest more than that if they wanted to. Okay, and now we're going to start seeing the first attack creeps coming out from Kitty. So remember, they can design the creeps however they want here. So Kitty has gone for 2 ranged attack, a heal to heal itself, and as well as 3 move parts as well to allow it to move along. Drake here is looking like he's going to move towards this source here with another carry creep harvester combo. Oh no, sorry, correction. This is just a move creep, so this is its only job is to move over to there. And this creep here, this what it looks like it's doing, it's building a rampart. So a rampart is a special structure where it means that the enemy can't hit you while you're stood on that rampart, but of course they only have a certain amount of hits, and after all those hits the rampart disappears and whatever's on the rampart can be destroyed. Cool. So what? Oh, sorry. So he's built the rampart and he's building a tower on this construction site. So remember, the towers are quite an advantage in combat. And we're seeing the first fights breaking out down here. So Drake has his creep here, which has its self heal as well as some ranged attack parts and the move parts there. He's pushing up forward, pushing towards Kitty here. Kitty on the bit of a back foot here, running away, and Drake bringing up to take this resource here. Drake is definitely ahead on economy-wise, so if we look, he's actually also taken this container here, which is almost pretty much emptied. These are called extensions. What these do is it allows you to basically extend the amount of resources in that spawn you have to create your units, and by doing so, you can build bigger and more powerful creeps. Kitty here now grouping up towards the base, playing a bit of a defensive strategy, but Kitty definitely on the back foot here as Drake continues to take more of an economy advantage. Drake now going to make a dive towards Kitty's base, but stopping just short of going over that spot. Oh, takes out one of the creeps here. This is an interesting fight, so we see Kitty dancing around as Drake is looking here to try and push his way through. Kitty's economy far weaker, unable to keep up with Drake, and it looks like this might be an easy win for Drake because he's taken out all of the creeps. Spawn now vulnerable, and there we go, we see a win for Drake. Congratulations, Drake, you're through to the quarterfinals. So as we wait for the next game, remember the economy is quite important in this game because the more energy you have coming into your spawn, the more that you can use that to beat your opponent. Okay. And our next game now, we're going to see, I did look up his name, we're going to call him Sauce because I believe that is the Chinese for a type of sauce, and Qzar. So Qzar versus Sauce. It's better than purple, okay? Right. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have Qzar. And in the top right-hand corner, we have Sauce. So in 3, 2, 1, let the fight begin. Okay, and again, we're going to keep the tick rate going a little bit faster here, just so we can get through these games in a reasonable amount of time. So we're going to see Sauce here coming out with a 3-work part, 1 move and 1 carry creep. So this basically, it's moved itself over to the source and it's able, over the source over there, and it's able to hold energy as it harvests. But we're going to see Qzar coming out with 2 work creeps here, so he might have a slight early game economy advantage here. Oh no, sorry. Yep, they both have the same number of work parts here, harvesting. So basically, the more work parts you have, the more harvest power that you have as well. So the more harvest power you have, the more energy you can harvest per tick. Okay, what we're going to see is a bit of an early construction here. What is this he's building here? This, oh sorry, he's got a creep sat on top of it, which is not helping me. It's a tower, so he's going to put a tower down near his spawn, a very defensive play from Qzar. We're going to see Sauce here at the top. He's not pushing out at all either. He does have a ranged attack creep with some self-heal, and he has taken the ranged attack flag. This seems to be the most popular one generally, because also we're seeing Qzar also taking that ranged attack flag down there, which will boost the ranged attack damage that they can do. Okay. Neither of them pushing out at all right now, so we're just going to go to a slightly faster speed. We'll see who moves out first. We're seeing, okay, there we go. We see Sauce, he's built up a bit of an army here, and he's going to push out, probably looking to just make a beeline straight for the base here. We'll see how that tower actually works out for Qzar here. But Qzar not really having much in terms of attack. He does have this creep here sat on a rampart. So this is just ranged attack on a rampart, which is going to make it harder to push through there. And we are going to see that work out quite well for him because Sauce is unable to push through. But crucially, Sauce does control most of the map right now. So if he wanted to, he is able to take advantage of almost all of these sources over here uncontested. Okay, And now we're seeing Kuzar here building up his defenses a bit more, slapping another rampart down. This could allow him to put more creeps on these ramparts to defend. We're seeing our friend Source here. He looks like he's building up some forces. Oh, they're going the wrong way, it looks like. I'm not sure where he's going with that right now. Okay. So this is actually a full heal that he has here, which is quite interesting. So now he might be able to out-heal that tower damage, but he is returning back to his own base. Maybe he's waiting for more forces to break out, probably realizing this is going to be a tough nut to crack. But crucially... Oh, and that's the game. I'm so terribly sorry. I completely missed Kuzar making the beeline here. Let's just rewind that a little bit, because I think that's quite important to comment on. So what I completely missed was Kuzar obviously pushed out at some point here. Oh, there you go. He did. He pushed straight to the spawn, and that's why Source tried to break behind, but it was too late, and the win is going to go to Kuzar. I'm sorry, I did not see. Even I didn't see that sneak attack, and no wonder Source was a bit slow to react to it, and he lost. So congratulations to Kuzar. You are through to the quarterfinals. Okay, in our next game, we have Metallics versus Jasper. So, in the bottom left-hand corner, sorry, we have Jasper. And in the top left-hand corner, we have Metallics. Okay, so in 3, 2, 1, let the fight begin. Okay, so we're going to see early game economy here. So we're seeing Metallics is going with a 3 work part, 1 move, 1 carry. He does have 2 creeps here that could be used to pull stuff, but it's also... Oh, he's relaying, I see. So this one's harvesting, passing to that one, and then he's probably passing to that one, which is then filling up the spawn. He's also slapped a construction site down for his first extension, so an extension, remember, allows him to spawn more units. Meanwhile, at the bottom, we're seeing Jasper here with 2 3 work part creeps. Both of those have a carry and a move. And he's just got this 1 creep here that's sort of dancing between. In terms of the flags, we have the ranged attack taken there, whereas Metallics hasn't taken a flag yet, so he still has that option open to take whatever bonus he wants. And he probably also knows what flag Jasper's taken, so that could potentially influence what his option is here, depending on how he's coded as well. Jasper here going to push out with an early attack creep, so this has 3 ranged attack parts. Remember, ranged attack can hit in a range of 3, but it does less damage than a melee creep. It does have safe self-healing capability, so if it does take damage, it is able to fix itself. What Metallics is doing over here is he is slapping down a tower, so hopefully looking to counter any attack that's coming through. It might be a bit too late for him, though, to do that, but he does have this creep here ready to be on the defense. So this container is a little bit crucial here. So this contains 2,000 energy, but once it's gone, it's gone. So he's decided it's worth putting a tower down there to defend that. Looking at the top here, he has put down extension construction sites and a tower construction site, but he's not yet moved anything there to start building or to start harvesting up there. Maybe as the game goes on, if it lasts a bit longer, he might start doing that. Okay, and what we're seeing here is Jasper has a little bit of a force build up here, not deciding to push in, probably realizing that he might struggle a little bit here against Metallics' force. But once that tower goes down, he is going to be even more at a disadvantage. So really, he needs to think about whether he wants to push through here or go somewhere else. And there we go. The tower is online, and it just one-shotted that creep. Remember, folks, the closer you are to the tower, the more damage that tower is going to do. And also, crucially, he has built a rampart under that tower, which means in order to attack it, he does need to take out that rampart first. So remember, ramparts always take the damage first, and then you attack whatever is under the ramparts. But what he's going to do is he's actually just going to completely ignore that tower. Looks like getting a very nice little kill there. A little bit unsure what to do here. He's probably stuck between retreating and pushing forward, but if he retreats through here, he is going to be in a very close range to that tower, because remember, the towers don't care about terrain or anything like that. Okay, so this is Swamp here, remember, and Swamp will slow you down. So Metallics here, looking like he's got a formation of 4 units here, commonly referred to as a quad, and that's going to be chasing after Jasper. Jasper now caught between a rock and a hard place, as the tower is taking out those creeps as they're retreating, but he can't go back the other way because the Metallics would take him out. Metallics now pushing with his advantage here, pushing through, past into sort of Jasper's terrain here. Jasper also not really expanding his economy at all, so he's still only got that one source back in the base, and he's mining it above capacity now, so it's not regenerating as fast as he can mine it. Metallic's also pushing forward. Jasper on the retreat here, returning back to his base, but he's got nothing here that can really help him. No tower or anything like we saw before. So it looks like Metallic's might be able to just sneak a win here. And there you go, we're seeing Metallic's pushing through, doing damage to the spawn here. The spawn now going down, which means the win will go to Metallic. So congratulations, Metallic's. You are through to the quarterfinals. Okay. And as mentioned before, we're going to do a quick recap of the rules, just while we wait for the next game to run. So remember, in this game mode, they can spawn new units. It's not just the units they started with like we saw before. There are these flags that they can capture, and those flags will give them will give them a bonus, to a particular part. So we have attack, ranged attack, and a heal flag. Now they can only claim one of those. Remember, attack is a 1 ranged melee. A ranged attack is up to a range of 3, but it does do less damage than the melee. But you can use them to kite. It also has this ranged mass attack ability, which means it will attack everything that belongs to an enemy within a range 3, which is quite a useful ability to have. Heal can do a melee heal, which does more healing, or a ranged heal, which does less healing. So the two sources of resources you can get in order to fuel your spawn, which is this circle here, is these sources which regenerate 10 per tick, and then these containers which you can just pick up resources from, but once the resources are gone, they're gone. Okay, now let's get back to the finals. So the next match in our 8th finals is Dima and Gull Banana. I wonder if that is a Deep Space Nine reference. Gul Dukat, whatever. Sorry, obscure cultural references that not everyone might know. Okay, so in the top right-hand corner, we have Gull Banana with his really pretty blue skin. And in the bottom, with his really nice star, actually, is Dima. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Let the fight begin. Okay, so we're going to... straight off the bat, we're seeing Gull Banana. He's going to be throwing out a container here. So the container itself doesn't really add that much value, but it does allow him to store up energy. So maybe he wants to use it to store up energy that it can use in a burst or something, but it does cost resources to build. Meanwhile, we're going to see Dima breaking out quite early with a work and move and a carry creep. Obviously, we're going to harvest this resource and collect from this container and use that container to start building stuff. And he is going to be throwing down extensions. Now remember, extensions allow him to spawn bigger creeps. And the bigger the creep means that it has more body parts, which means that individual unit can do more. Okay, so again, he's built 2, building his 3rd extension here. But remember, once that container has gone, it's gone forever. Like, it's only got 2,500 resource. He's already used 1,500 of it nearly. But he is using these extensions quite well, is spawning bigger creeps. And there we go, we're seeing an attack creep moving out here. So this one here has 3 ranged attack. It has no self-healing ability at all, and in fact there's no healers as part of this team that's pushing forward, so if he does take damage, he isn't going to be able to heal it up at all. And then we see a 3rd ranged attack going up to meet that group. Meanwhile, looking back at Gull Banana has self-healing, but he does have less ranged attack, but crucially, he is able to sustain better. He's going to push out, heading towards the top, seemingly ignoring the build-up here of Dima's forces at the bottom here. Gull Banana looks like he's regrouping his forces there, maybe to push out later. Gull Banana has not taken advantage so far of the other resources at his disposal until now, so he is slightly behind with that, but he does have a worker creep here now, which is building and filling these extensions. But if Dima decided to push, he definitely has the economy advantage here because he's also harvesting this source at bottom. So Dima has now fully utilized this container to spawn his army, but will he take advantage of it before Gull Banana can also spawn up a force of his own? Now, crucially, if we look back in the spawn here, there is no tower or anything like that, which would give him an advantage in the defense. Okay. And we're just seeing right now this force is being very idle. Maybe Dima has programmed like a certain amount of force that he requires before he pushes out. Interestingly, though, he has left his base a little bit open. So it could be possible for Ghoul Banana to sneak around. But Ghoul Banana here, that's again, he just did that before, if you noticed before, and he's done it a second time, where he's completely just throwing his units away, because what we now see from D-Mat is he has 2 towers, not 1. So, 2 is better than 1, and these towers, as we've seen, are already extremely effective, and he is not even going to be able to get these creeps around. But even if he does, look at the size of this force build-up here. So D-Mat has built up quite an army here. Now, he really could just push through and end this, but he's deciding, for whatever reason, to hold out and build up more force. So we're just going to fast forward here and see what's going to happen. But right now, it's just a case of spawning up more stuff. We are seeing this container now finally being utilized, but it's only by 1 extension here. And maybe it might have been too little too late if it wasn't for the fact that D-Mat hasn't pushed out. But Gold Banana right now, he's just burning his resources. Remember, each of these creeps costs resources and resources of time, and he's just throwing them into these towers, and they're just dying one after the other like that. It seems they're stuck in this sort of routine, though, because he's not grouping up his forces at all or anything like that. He's just feeding them in one by one. Meanwhile, D-Mat is probably waiting for some pre-programmed moment to push out and end the game. And there we go. Oh, we're seeing D-Mat pushing around the other side now. Maybe he's realized that these towers are good enough to hold the bottom. Oh, he's pushing through the wall here. So, crucially, just to talk about this very briefly, these walls here have 10,000 hit points. But if you attack them and destroy them, it basically opens a shortcut where he can sneak through and attack. That's a very clever use of his forces here, but really he should have just pushed through and ended before. And there you go, he's broken through. Now D-Mat is just going to push with his absolute swarm power here. Weirdly, not going straight for the spawn here, but detouring a little bit. Okay, now he's pushing through onto the swamp. It looks like there's nothing to contest it here, and that is an easy win for D-Mat. Okay, if you just give me 1 second, we do have a little bit of a technical thing I need to sort out in the background here. Okay. So apparently we're having issues with the chat window again. I thought we'd fix that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to disable the chat. Okay. So I apologize that you should be able to still see the chat on whatever platform you're chatting on. But what that was an aggregated chat. I'm not sure if... So remember, I'm working with O4 in the background, so thank you for him for doing all of this stuff in the background. He might be able to fix it at some point, and then he might be able to share a link where you can see the aggregated chat across all the platforms that we are broadcasting to. Okay, I'm very sorry about that. I know it's nice to see the chat, but unfortunately it's just not working as it should today. Okay. In the next match, what we have is a very sneaky polar bear, and he has this really nice blue badge, and he is going to be in the top right-hand corner, and in the bottom left-hand corner with a nice black and purple theme, we have UWAP. So, in 3, 2, 1, let the fight begin. Okay, I'm going to slow down here a little bit. Okay, 5 ticks a second. That's pretty nice. Okay, so Sneaky Polar Bear, he has a carry and 3 work part creep. So you probably can't see it because it was too quick. So another creep would have had to drag it there because that creep has no move parts himself. But it does save a little bit on the spawn. Okay, looking like maybe potentially an early game aggression here from Sneaky Polar Bear, as he has already... Let me just see what these creeps are. So he's moved out with... a very small 1 ranged attack, 2 move, 1 tough. So the tough part doesn't actually do anything except act as a damage sponge, essentially. So he's got no healers, but it does mean it can tank a little bit of damage before it starts becoming less effective. Okay, so he's pushing out, doing a little bit of damage here to the middle, but he's obviously not interested in pushing through there. Will this early game aggression pay out? We'll see, because UAP... Oh no, that's not an aggressive creep. That is just a move and a carry creep. So he looks like he wants to pick up this energy here from this container and bring it back to his base. But unless he starts building up some forces, this is going to be a very easy win for Sneaky Polar Bear, a very sneaky early game aggression here. Oh, actually, looking back in the base, UAP does have some defenders ready, and he has taken that light ranged attack flag. Sneaky Polar Bear also taking the light ranged attack flag. I wonder if in this game we'll see anything different, and he did just take out that creep there that was carrying the energy back. He's going to make a beeline here for the base, realizing though that he can't win here. These defenders pushing out from UAP though, pushing back Sneaky Polar Bear's early game aggression, but he does still have those creeps alive, so they could still be useful later in the game. Okay, Sneaky Polar Bear has already started harvesting this second energy source here. He is going to be losing some of his creeps, though, backing away with 3 of them, though. These 3 that are pushing forward might be able to start attacking these workers, and that would be a big loss of Sneaky Polar Bear, because that's quite an investment. But what he has done is he's successfully utilized this container, building 4 extensions down here, which means he can spawn bigger creeps. So remember, bigger the more extensions, the bigger the creeps you have. These creeps here, though, are able to easily take out Sneaky Polar Bear's attack. Sneaky Polar Bear looking potentially trying to do another sneaky attack by taking out these walls, but he doesn't have the damage to do it fast enough. Okay, but now we're seeing UAPs here. His defenders are going to be pushed back as Sneaky Polar Bear is able to equalize the amount of damage, and we see one of those going down. Now, these guys here, they are on ramparts, which meant that they were able to survive those defenders pushing out, and all of those are going to go down. So, militarily, UAP there taking a bit of a hit there. But he still has 2 of his defenders, but it might not be enough. Sneaky Polar Bear has actually claimed both sources now, which means economically he is far ahead. Now, UAP is desperately trying to tear down these ramparts, but it's going to be potentially too little too late, because Sneaky Polar Bear definitely has the economy advantage, and looking at how aggressive his bot has been so far, he might very easily push that advantage into a win. Not sure how UAP is going to be able to pull this back. He is trying to build up some forces, though, hopefully to push out and take advantage of that. Sneaky Polar Bear, though, looking like he might be doing another push here, but UAP here able to muster enough forces to push that back. One of Sneaky Polar Bear's creeps going to be caught out of position there, but we do have another one potentially out of position there. UAP chasing it down, able to do a lot of damage. But calling off the chases, other Sneaky Polar Bear creeps pushed in. UAP now taking, one casualty there as he chased down that creep, being a little bit too greedy here. UAP's defenders potentially caught off guard, and one of them is going to go down. Sneaky Polar Bear grouping up his forces, looks like he's going to make a big push here for the base, realizing he might be able to win here. And here we go, we're seeing him push across the swamp into UAP's base. UAP here taking his last defenders down. His economy is completely toast, and it looks like that's going to be a win for Sneaky Polar Bear. So congratulations to Sneaky Polar Bear, you are through to the quarterfinals. Well, that was a very interesting fight. Some very interesting early game aggression. And okay, in our next match. Sorry, just need some water. In our next match, we have Kerobi. So thank God for hiragana. It's very easy to read. So Kerobi-san, arigatou gozaimashita. And then we have Xiao. Xiao thank you, O4. So sorry, O4's telling me that I don't worry, Kerobi-san, I can read it. So we have Kerobi-san and Xiao. Okay, great. So in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Xiao. And in the top right-hand corner, we have Kerobi-san. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, let the fight begin. Oh, sorry. Button. Okay, and we are going to see... an interesting one. With the first time we've seen it now, Xiao taking the melee flag here rather than the ranged attack flag. That's the first time that we've seen it. Okay, in the top we are not seeing Kerobi-san take any of the flags yet. He has got a 4 work part creep though. So actually he still has a bit of an economic disadvantage because Zhao has taken more. Okay, we are going to see a lot of these move part creeps come up. Now this is a tactic we've seen quite a lot with Kerobi-san in the replays that I was watching in preparation for this. So these creeps here don't have any attack power, don't have any carry power at all. The only thing that they do is they're a way to move creeps very quickly, like we just saw right there across the swamp. So when you have a move part, what it can do is it can pull other creeps. So that move part there, it's basically pulling the creeps like that across the swamp, meaning they can cross swamps a lot faster, which is a very interesting thing that he's doing just to build up that speed. So looking at this creep here, it is a bit of a hybrid, so it does have ranged attack and melee attack. It has a lot of move, and it has 2 tough parts. Now, the extra move parts mean it can move across the swamp faster by itself. He has taken the ranged attack flag, though, so we are going to see a ranged attack flag versus a melee flag here. Now, this melee creep is beeline straight towards Kerobi-san, but Kerobi, he could kite it if he codes effectively, but he's not. He's gone straight into melee range with that big chunky melee creep here from Xiao, and Xiao is going to very easily take out yet another creep, but this creep here actually has no heal power at all, which means that it can't fix itself up now. This isn't the game stalling. This is literally just a stalemate that's being reached here. So this healer's got nothing to heal. This guy can't move at all. He's sending in another attack creep here. This one has only 2 attack parts, but it does have a lot of move parts, which means that it's going to be very hard to stop this one from being able to move. But look at the bottom here. What we're seeing here is Xiao is coming out with ranged attack and move, pushing straight for the spawn, ignoring all of Kerobi-san's creeps there, which is an interesting play. Kerobi being caught a little bit off guard because he's still pushing forward, ignoring the creep that seems to be pushing towards his base. It's beeline straight in. It's going to do some economy damage here. It is damaging the spawn. The spawn is taking hits here, and the spawn is going down, but it might not be enough here. Oh, he's taking out the economy. So Kerobi-san has just lost all of his economy here, and this spawn is still taking damage, but Kerobi has nothing that's coming back to defend it currently, which means that if he doesn't do anything soon, this will be a loss for him. Yeah, it looks like this is going to be a win for Xiao, because this creep here didn't push forward. Now, he really had to, even if whatever on paper, it didn't look like it was going to be a good idea. So congratulations to Xiao, you are through to the quarterfinals. Congratulations, that was a very interesting play, and the first time we saw the melee attack. Okay, folks, that was very interesting, and in the next game we have Colo versus Cataton, and we'll see how that plays out. So remember, there's 3 flags on the map, and they can only take one of them, and that flag will buff that one part, but then it disables them for the rest of the game from being able to take any of the other flags. So, Colo versus Cataton. Here we go. So in the bottom left-hand corner, with his default badge, which has the white circle with a black circle around the outside, we have Colo. And in the top right-hand corner, with his pink and black stripes, I think that's black, sorry, I'm a little bit colorblind, is Cataton. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, let the fight begin. Okay, so we're going to see Cataton here. He's going to spawn a 2 work part, move, and a carry. So they all seem to have different strategies here for how they're doing the early game economy. Okay, here we're going to see... this one doesn't actually have a carry part, but it does have 3 work parts. Now, what happens is if it's harvesting, but it doesn't have a carry part, that energy drops on the ground, and then every tick, it will decrease the amount by 1. Now, the mechanics are a little bit more complicated than that, but just to make it simple, just basically when you don't see a carry part and it's harvesting like that, he's basically losing 1 energy per tick that he's harvesting. We are going to see an early game take of the flag there from Colo. He's going to be taking the light ranged attack flag, meaning he does get that bonus to ranged attack. In the top right-hand corner, though, Cataton has not taken a flag yet, meaning he's still got his options open to him. He is going to be pushing out with some more economy here, though, by the looks of it. Oh, this is an early game attack creep. Not pushing out, though. It looks like he's here to just basically control this top energy source. So remember, more of these sources they have, the more of these miners they can have mining them, and then the more their economy is, the more attack units they can spawn. So what we're seeing now, though, with Colo is playing a bit more of a defensive game. He's spawned a healer and a ranged attack creep. He's got a second healer coming out now, but yeah, nothing in terms of an early game aggression. He is going to try and push out, though, towards this bottom source, but it looks like Cataton is going to be sending an attack creep there to counter that, and unless those other attack creeps come and help, he's not going to be able to do it. Okay, he hasn't sent them out, and he's retreating now with his worker. Cataton pushing the advantage through that area there, so he does control this here. We're going to start seeing the first ramparts going down. So remember, the ramparts means he can sit on top of those, and if he's on a rampart, that unit will not take any damage until the rampart is destroyed. Okay, we're also seeing an extension going down. So the extensions, remember, if he puts energies into those, which is the energy, of course, is the stuff you mine from these sources. If he puts energy into those extensions, it increases basically how much energy he has for spawning. So if you look here, this store is how much energy that he has to use for spawning. Each body part on a creep costs a certain amount of energy, and this basically acts as extra energy that he can use on top of the maximum store in the spawn in order to spawn creeps. Okay, not seeing much going on here in terms of the aggression though. Kateron is building up a bit of a force up here, but not pushing out with it at all. Whatever was going on with this early attack at the bottom is not going on now, and no one seems to be claiming this bottom source at all. Colo has also not taken advantage at all of this container here. So it looks like, in terms of economy, Kateron's ahead. In terms of fighting, it also looks like, although he has a bigger force, he isn't going to be pushing out, and we're just going to go to a slightly faster speed to see when we're going to start seeing any sort of aggression here. Kateron building up his forces still, but again, no aggression pushing out at all. Probably waiting for a certain amount of force or calculating, because remember, both players can see everything on the map. There's no fog of war or anything, so they know exactly how strong their opponent is, how many creeps they have, etc, etc. We're seeing a lot of dancing going on here, so what's actually going on? Okay, we're seeing a lot of these attack creeps basically just dancing around now. This is a waste for Kateron. So remember, in this game, you only have a certain amount of resources to play with. You don't have an unlimited amount of compute power every step in the game, and actions like this do cost that compute power. So there's a fixed cost on top of the normal whatever computing cost you have to work out things like your damage, that kind of thing. So the beauty of Screeps is you have to solve these very complicated problems, but you do have limited resources to do it. Okay, we're going to slow down a little bit now as we're seeing the first fights breaking out. So Colo is going to push into this tunnel here. Kateron backing off, probably realizing he can't win in that fight, but Kateron himself is going to push down with a massive force in bottom here. Unless Colo backs off, he isn't going to be able to defend that probably, even with his bigger creeps here and those healers. Kateron, though, making the mistake of feeding in his creeps potentially one by one. No, he stops to group them up. That's a very sensible thing to do, because if he sent them in one by one, it would be possible for Colo to attack him. Oh, he's built a wall. That was an interesting formation choice. Okay, he's pushing into the swamp, taking out the defenders here. It looks like this is going to be a win for Kateron as he pushes in, takes out the remaining defenders. The economy's going down. He's focusing all the fire on the spawn, and the spawn's going to go down, which means this is a victory for Kateron. So congratulations to Kateron. You are through to the quarterfinals. That was quite an interesting build-up with not much going on for quite a while, except build-up of forces. Okay, folks. In our next match-up, we have kolbász, I think it's pronounced based on my Google searches, and apparently that is a Hungarian sausage. So everyone's favorite sausage right now is kolbász. And Statue, as we saw before, had that really interesting formation of 3 creeps in the previous arena. We'll see if he's actually maintaining it in this one now. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. So in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Statue. And in the top right-hand corner, we have kolbász with his beautiful green theme that might be a little bit hard for me to see on this background. Okay, are we ready? 3, 2, 1. Fight. Begin. Okay, and straight off the bat, we're going to see kolbász here spawning a move creep here. So this one has move and carry, but not much else. So basically, it was there just to move this creep here and then carry resources back to the spawn. His creeps here don't have a carry part, but it is 4 work parts. But that means he is going to be losing resources that are going to be dropping on the ground. Meanwhile, if we look down here, we see that Statue has already taken the ranged attack flag. His creep does have a move and it does have carry, but he does have a weaker economy in the very early game right now. But we'll see if kolbász actually takes advantage of that fact. Okay. looking at the top here, we're going to see Kolbaz coming out with an early game attack, potentially trying to take advantage here of the early game economic lead that he got. Okay, he has taken the ranged attack flag as well. As we've seen already, this has been the most popular flag in this game. Oh, that's quite interesting. So even though Statue has taken the ranged attack bonus flag, the first creep he's going to spawn isn't a ranged attack creep, but instead a melee creep. Okay, but now, oh, there we go. Now we've seen the ranged attack creep coming out. An interesting build order choice. Will it be enough, though? Oh, maybe enough, because Kolbaz has stalled. He has decided not to continue pushing, potentially just wanting to control these choke points here and take the containers. Oh no, he was just waiting for the healer to join the group. So this healer's joined the group now, but unfortunately it might not be enough to win here. We are going to see the first group of 3, so we're seeing Statue also... oh, they're both using groups of 3. That's quite interesting. So if we look at the sizes of here, but this one is 2 ranged attack and a heal. This one is a melee, a ranged attack, and a heal. But in terms of the ranged attack parts, yeah, it looks like if he can keep his distance, Kolbaz might be able to win here. And there we go. We're seeing Statue rightfully potentially backing off here. Kolbaz has now pushed across that swamp, pushing into Statue's territory a little bit here. Just poking and very well kiting. He's obviously got good kiting code. Statue desperately trying to catch him off guard there with a kiting, but unfortunately he's going to lose that melee attack creep, and Kolbaz is not going to waste any time pushing that advantage, taking out that full trio. We're seeing... Statue here trying to take advantage of the economy stuff here, but it might be too little too late. He has spawned another melee creep here, but as we've already seen, Kolbaz is really good at kiting those, and he is going to do a lot of damage to it, taking it out, and also taking out the ranged attack creep, taking out the economy as well, and it looks like that Statue is probably going to lose this now. He's got a heal creep that's come out, but unfortunately nothing to heal here but itself, and that's going to go down now. We're seeing that Statue has no economy left except... Oh, he's also lost the creep up here. Sorry, I completely missed that too. So it looks like this is going to be an easy win for Kolbaz, who just needs to keep on attacking his spawn, and we're going to watch that go down very quickly. It's going to go down eventually. There you go. The spawn went down, so congratulations to Kolbaz on your victory. You are through to the quarterfinals. Okay, folks, now we're on to the quarterfinals, but before we do so, if you look in the description for wherever you're watching this, be it on the official Screeps YouTube channel or Twitch, or if you're watching it on my YouTube channel, what you'll see is a link to a store. Now, if you click on that and you use the discount code SYNAP, that's SYNAP, you can get a 5% discount, and that discount does stack with other discounts that you have, and any purchase that you make through that also does help support the channel a little bit. And this discount applies to all Screeps related products, so that includes Screeps Arena and Screeps World. So if you're a World player watching this, now's a good chance to grab Screeps Arena and show the world if show Screeps Arena if World players are actually better at Arena than Arena players. Okay, so now we're on to the first match of the quarterfinals. We have Drake versus Qzar. And don't worry, I will show that access key code at some point as well, but I won't tell you when. Okay, the first game of the quarterfinals, Drakes versus Qzar. So in the bottom left-hand corner with his beautiful default badge with the black outer circle and the white inner circle is Qzar. And at the top with his nice sort of yellow and wavy line sort of effect is Drake. So in 3, 2, 1, let the fight begin. Okay, so we might start slowing down a little bit in the future here. There's interesting things to watch now because we are into the quarterfinals. We're a little bit behind schedule, actually, compared to where we would like to be, but that's okay. We don't mind if we run over a little bit. Okay, so Drake here, he's come out with his carry and 3 work part creep, using another creep here to do the relaying, and he's got 2 of those now for his early game economy. In the bottom here, we're also seeing the same strategy play out for Qzar, also with his relaying creep. He has put down an extension construction site, but he's not currently building that right now. Drake has also got his first extension construction site down, and he is building that. And what we're going to see here is we're going to see work part creep pushing out. He's looking like he might want to move to the bottom here to harvest it, or he's going to start working from that container. Oh, he's moving to the top, correction. Okay, so he's moving that creep over to the top to claim that source. Qzar has not moved out at all from his base. Now remember, the economy in this game is really important, because the more energy you have coming in, the more you're able to spawn bigger creeps. So remember, these extensions here enable you to spawn more creeps. This container contains energy, but once it's gone forever. And Drake now is using that container to build up his extensions, and he's using he's using the energy from this spawn here, this source here. Sorry. So remember, these constantly regen at 10 a tick, and with tick is a game step, and he's able to constantly basically harvest that and build up more energy, which you can use for building units. And speaking of units, we are seeing him now pushing through with an early game attack here. This creep here is got some self-heal, one healing part, and it does have 3 ranged attack. It does have some move. It does have some move parts in the front and some move parts behind. Now, a key thing here with Screeps is the order in which you place these parts is quite important. So these parts on the left-hand side will actually take damage before the ones on the right-hand side. And remember, if a part is reduced to 0 hit points, it becomes completely ineffective. So basically what this means is these 2 move parts will become ineffective first, followed by these light ranged attack, followed by all the rest of the move, and the heal is the last part to go ineffective. And that basically means that he can constantly heal this up as long as the creep itself isn't dead. Now, what we've seen here is Qzar has slapped down a tower for some pretty interesting defense here. He does have the ramparts. Now, remember, a rampart means if you're sat on the rampart, you cannot take damage until that rampart is destroyed. So that applies both to this tower. Now remember, the towers can either heal his units or do a lot of damage to the enemy units, doing more damage if they're closest. That's probably why it's not firing. He's waiting for Drake to come in towards him with his with his attack creeps that he has here. But this, although it's quite an interesting defensive strategy, it's probably not going to work in the long run here, because Drake is able to take all of this extra economy here. He's completely depleted and used all of the power from this container, and he's decided to abandon these 3 extensions, nothing filling those up right now. Okay, he has built a rampart in the choke point, which is interesting, which will make it harder for Qzar to push out later in the game if he decides to. But right now, it looks like he's working on a bit of a force build-up here, and he is going to need the forces if he is going to be able to push through and take out the ramparts and also deal with the tower here. Now, remember, the tower does need energy to keep going. So what he could do potentially here is push past the tower and attack anything that's trying to refill it with energy. But he will have to tank some early tower shots here. Now Drake, holding on the boundary of where he probably thinks that tower will start becoming effective. His creeps are blinking like this because he's healing his creeps even though he doesn't need to heal. Now, there's a reason for that. Even though it costs the extra intense, it does save him the extra calculation that he would have to do to work out whether he should be healing at all. Okay, we are going to see Qzar pushing out here with a heal and a ranged attack, but it might not be enough here. But Drake backing off, realizing that maybe that ranged attack is going to be too much for him to handle. Qzar keeping it healed up really nicely, so it's not going to go down. He's going to push out, but he's left his back line open, and Drake is going to chase him behind. Drake might be able to hit the healer creep here if he's not careful, but Qzar has a bit of an advantage here, and Drake is chasing after him. Now, there is no rampart at all in this area here, which means that Qzar is able to push forward, but unfortunately, because of this swamp area here and this tower, it is going to mean that Qzar is going to be able to take... oh, sorry, I think I pressed the wrong button here. Qzar is going to be able to take out all of those creeps. I'm very sorry we just missed that, but I think it was pretty easy to see with the tower that Drake had and those creeps coming behind. He was able to take all of that out. Now, Qzar has built a wall of ramparts here. He's struggling to keep that... Oh, there you go. He kept the tower refilled, but that creep's not got quite enough energy to keep it doing continuously. And we are going to see that rampart going down. Now, he is doing a lot of damage here. The rampart over the tower's going down. Now, the tower itself taking damage. The tower's gone down. And this looks like it's going to be a win for Drake because he's taken out everything and pushed straight onto that spawn. Sorry, I believe I pushed the documentation button at the top there earlier, and I do apologize for that. But congratulations to Drake. You are through to the quarterfinals. To the semi-finals, sorry, we were in the quarterfinals, my bad. Okay, in the next game of our quarterfinals, we have Metallics versus Dima. Alright, in the bottom left-hand corner with his really nice star is Dima. And in the top right-hand corner with his cool blue theme, we have Metallics. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Let the fight begin. Okay, folks, we're going to see early game coming out here is a 1 work, 1 carry, 1 move creep. So this is cheaper to spawn, which means he was able to spawn more creeps in the start, including this one here, which has a work part, a carry, and a move. And that looks like it might be going over here to take advantage of this container, meaning that although, you know, in the early game he might fall a little bit hard behind with the economy, he has moved out and already claimed that container. Meanwhile, we're seeing Metallics. He has got a stronger economy right now with 3 work parts actively harvesting that, and then another 3 pulling it up to 6, which means Metallics can then sort of snowball a little bit with his economy here. We are going to see Dima here using this container to build his first extensions, which means he can spawn bigger creeps. So remember, extensions here mean that you are able to use that energy in your spawning. And now, a key thing here is actually really interesting. So, although he's not harvesting as much energy, you don't need to harvest to use the container. So it's basically almost like, because, you know, it's 50 a tick, because a carry part can hold 50 a time. So he's actually potentially pulled ahead with economy now with that extra 50 energy a tick. He has taken the ranged attack flag. Metallics has also taken the ranged attack flag. Metallics now has also claimed that container, and we are going to see Dima pushing out with some aggression here, building up his forces, pushing through the bottom. Metallics also pushing out with some aggression, pushing out through the top. So they are pushing in different directions right now. It might turn into a bit of a base race here, but we'll see, I guess. Metallics stalling at the top, though, it seems. Oh, but look at that! What we've just seen from Dima here is Dima has just put down a constructed wall. Now, what's key to remember is this wall is impassable for both players, but it does mean that Metallics is going to have to take out this wall if he wants to push through there, which is going to slow him down a bit. Meanwhile, Dima has built up his forces down here, is harvesting that bottom source. Metallics not harvesting that top source yet, so it's now 2-1 on the sources. It looks like that Dima's early play in grabbing that container has played out and given him the springboard he needed to power forward and grab this source here. Now, he might struggle to push forward nonetheless, because we are seeing a tower going up here, which will be very easy to keep refilled, because Metallics has a creep here, also on a rampart. So remember, they're both on ramparts, which makes them very hard to hit, because you need to hit those ramparts before you can hit what's underneath it. This container here has 790 energy, and remember, he can keep refilling that, and it's 10 energy a shot, so that's a lot of tower shots that Dima will have to deal with if he wants to push through there. Meanwhile, looking at the top, Metallic's making no effort yet to push forward here. His creep's doing a little bit of a dance here, not quite sure what's going on. Looks like it's going to be a bit of a waste of his ticks, his CPU power. But okay, doesn't matter. Here we go. He's pushing out. He's going to have to take out this wall. Will Dima react in time? Will he realize what's going on? Or will he push forward himself? Okay, we're seeing Metallics now attacking this wall. That wall's going to go down pretty soon, but it looks like Dima's not responding at all. Dima's still building up his forces at the bottom here, but it doesn't matter, folks, because if he loses this spawn, it's all over for him. And there we go. Now we're going to see Dima reacting here, realizing that wall's gone down, but will he get there in time for Metallics' push? He's sending not all of his forces, but a dispatch of some of them here. Maybe he's worked out how much he needs exactly to take out Metallics, but he's actually, Metallics there, he should have just pushed forward, but now, Dima is now having to catch up to Metallics, but Metallics didn't go towards the spawn here, so he has successfully deflected this attack from Metallics, and he is still building up the forces down here for his own attack as well, simultaneously. Metallics now, though, he's also harvesting this source here, so right now they're both harvesting 2 sources each. They've both utilized the container as much as they're going to. Now, this container still has energy, but Metallics isn't using that energy at all. Oh, he's pushing down towards the bottom, but this is a really bad play for him, because Dima has 2 towers here, both of those fully loaded, and he is just going to pop those attack creeps very quickly. And Dima is also going to make a push now towards the top as well, looking at this base here, but unfortunately that tower is going to be quite hard to push against, so it's a little bit of a stalemate here. They both control their side of the map. They have, well, Metallics did try and skirmish a little bit towards it, but it looks like it's going to be very difficult to push to their opponent's side, and it's going to be up to maybe a misplay from one of them here to decide who's going to be able to break through past the tower power and win the game here. Now, we must note that Dima does have his spawn open a little bit, but look at this. He's now walling off his spawn. That's an interesting play here. So now it's going to be very hard for Metallics to push forward, because he will have to take out the wall and the rampart behind it as well. He doesn't have any sort of second spawn, which is quite interesting. So any new creeps that he's spawning are also going to be made impassable to this wall. Maybe he's realized, though, that his strategy here is best to just turtle. which is an interesting play because remember, folks, in order to win, he does need to take out Metallix' spawn. He can't just sit in his own base. And Metallix here is going to make another dive towards Dima's base. He is going to start doing damage to this wall here. There's nothing on these ramparts, so Dima is not able to take advantage of the fact that these ramparts exist. And there we go. He's taken out this wall, and these ramparts are actually too far away. Now remember, ranged attack has a range of 3. So these rampart here is not 3 away from the spawn, which means that Metallix, after taking out this wall, is able to hit this spawn. And now Dima is not responding fast enough. He has broken through the wall here and pushing out, but it's probably too late for him. And this spawn is going to go down before he can go to Metallix, most likely. And there we go. See, we see Metallix taking the win there. Dima was way too slow to react, unfortunately. And he failed to push through. He also failed to defend his spawn appropriately, so congratulations, Metallix, on your win here. You are through to the semi-finals of this arena. Oh, sorry. Dear, that was not very smooth. Okay, folks, I am just going to have a drink, and while I do that, there's a reminder that in the description, you will see a link that you can click, and a token, which is Synap, SYNAP, that gives you a 5% discount on all Screeps-related products. Any purchase helps support the channel. And also, we are going to be giving away access keys. I'm not going to tell you when I'll show it, but I do have tokens. So if you're a Screeps World player, you can claim up to 1 access key from watching this stream. Okay, folks, and I'm also going to, as promised, to do a little bit of a quick reminder here of the rules of this arena. So we're looking at an arena called Power Split. The key feature of this is there are 3 flags that are near where you start, and you can pick up one of these flags, and that flag gives you a bonus for the rest of the match. The 3 flags give 1 bonus is for an attack creep, that's the red flag. So attack can hit in a range of 1, but it does do more damage than the ranged attack counterpart, which can hit in a range of 3. That's buffed by our blue flag over here. Ranged attack is weaker though than melee, so if you can get into melee range, you can do more damage with those attack parts. But ranged attack can obviously do some kiting there, so it's balanced around how well you can kite. Okay, the heal part is what looks like green, and it's also the green flag. And heal can fix up damage, so when a creep takes damage, its body parts, like the attack part or a ranged attack part, will die, and a heal is required to fix those up. So, unlike the previous arena we saw yesterday, they can build new units. In fact, they don't start with any units. There is a spawn that they have, and their goal is to defend that spawn, because if that spawn goes down, they lose the game. Now, you have these sources here, which are these sort of glowy yellow squares. These give energy, and energy is used to spawn the new units. We also have these containers here. You don't have to harvest those. You can literally just go there and pick up the energy and use it straight away. And we did see that used quite effectively previously. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, folks, I hope that was clear. Don't worry, I will keep mentioning mechanics as we do these streams. So if you're unsure of anything, don't worry. But our next game in the quarterfinals, we're going to have Sneaky Polar Bear in the top right-hand corner here with his very cool blue logo, and Xiao in the bottom left-hand corner here with the default white circle with a black circle around it. Okay, so good luck to both of our competitors, and in 3, 2, 1, let the fight begin. Okay, here. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, what we're seeing here is we're seeing 3 work parts, 1 carry. So this is not going to be dropping the resources on the floor. Remember, if those resources are dropped onto the floor, they lose 1 a tick. Okay, now we're seeing Sneaky Polar Bear coming out with the second 3 work parts. They're both actually going with the same early game economy here. I do find it interesting, though, the tactic of grabbing the container early on, because that energy is far more accessible because you can just grab it every tick. So that was a very interesting play we saw earlier. Okay, Sneaky Polar Bear being very sneaky again, coming out with his early game aggression, but he's not alone in that particular theory because Xiao is also sending out a creep of his own. Sneaky Polar Bear going around the bottom, Xiao going around the top. Sneaky Polar Bear also sneaking around the top, doing some damage here to these walls, but he's not interested in taking those out just yet. Xiao coming out with a big, fat melee creep, and he has taken the melee flag again. That's probably pre-programmed into him. He is going to try and chase after Sneaky Polar Bear, but Sneaky Polar Bear is quite good at kiting, as we saw before. So he is going to kite that creep, and that creep is going to go down. Now, that was a big creep, and that was a lot of energy, so that's going to cost Xiao a lot here. Sneaky Polar Bear himself has taken the ranged attack flag, which means he is boosting the ranged attack parts. Okay. Xiao is coming out now with another one of these melee creeps. It looks like these are pre-programmed. This one only has those 2 attack parts. Sneaky Polar Bear chasing after it. His economy over here is exposed, but he's probably not too worried about that. He does have more creeps coming in to cut that one off. He might lose his economy, but it should be alright. Easy enough for him to defend it. But no, it looks like Xiao is actually going to make a beeline to Sneaky Polar Bear's base here. But Sneaky Polar Bear, ignoring that creep. That was potentially a misplay. And Xiao now is coming in with 2 creeps. In fact, he's completely open. Sneaky Polar Bear has left his base open as Xiao is pushing in. Looking at Xiao's base, though, Sneaky Polar Bear does not have anything attacking there. Sneaky Polar Bear does have some creeps now that have just come out to defend, and he is able to counter that attack, but that would have been disastrous if he wasn't able to counter that. Xiao coming out with another big fat melee creep here. It still just melee parts, no self-heal or anything like that. He's going to look to try and attack Sneaky Polar Bear, but he is now going to try and run away as Sneaky Polar Bear beelines after him with a ranged attack, which he knows he probably can't kite very well. Okay, we're seeing another big fat melee trying another attack around the bottom. Sneaky Polar Bear not kiting effectively with his workers. He is going to lose the worker there, meaning he has been denied the bottom source here, but he does have his extensions built. And he has used almost all of the energy in that container already. Meanwhile, Xiao has not taken advantage of that at all. Economically, Sneaky Polar Bear is ahead, which means as the game goes on, he will be able to utilize that in order to push his advantage. Okay, but now we're going to see the melee creep trying to push forward. So this is Swamp, remember, folks, this darker green color, and I apologize for the visuals. I didn't make them. Green on green, terrible choice for the colorblind. But basically, if you're on this here, it is going to be slower. Also, it would be great if you clicked it and it told you what sort of terrain it was, just as feedback to 04, who I know is watching very closely. Okay, we're going to see that melee creep here. He's going to push onto and take out one of those workers down there, but Sneaky Polar Bear now has definitely got the economic advantage, controlling both of the sources at the top and the bottom. Now, there is this one in the middle as well, but we haven't seen anyone actually bother with that yet. And Sneaky Polar Bear has just pushed into Xiao's base, taken out all the economy, and taken out the spawn. So congratulations to Sneaky Polar Bear on your win. You are through to the semi-finals. That was a very interesting game with early game aggression, but unfortunately Xiao's big fat melee creeps weren't able to work because Sneaky Polar Bear was very effectively able to kite them. So congratulations to him. Okay, folks, as promised, I am now going to take a little bit of a break, and I am going to show you the promo code. So if you look on the screen right now, what you should see is a link here, and if you go to that link there at world.store.screeps.com and then use that promo code, you'll get 1 access key, and that access key can either be used for the seasonal events that the devs host, or it can also be used for the new Shard X. So Shard X is a new shard on Screeps World, which gives you a 2 times faster tick rate. It's a bit smaller, so there's a lot of activity, and it's also very connected to the rest of the world as well. So it's quite an interesting new thing that they've added. Shard X access is for 30 days with a access key. And I'm going to take just a 5-minute break, so please look at that code there, take advantage of it, and I'm about to turn it off, so take a screenshot or whatever in 3, 2, 1, and we'll be back soon. Don't worry, I will show it again a little bit. Be right back. Okay, folks, and we're back. Now we're going to be looking at the final game of the quarterfinals. I hope you gathered that access key. If you didn't, don't worry. I will put it on screen again for you. But in this game now, we have Kateron versus everyone's favorite Hungarian sausage. It is Kolbaz. I hope I pronounced that right. I did look earlier because I can see who's going to be competing. So apologies and please correct me if I got it wrong. Okay, in the top right-hand corner with his lovely purple and black theme is Kateron. And in the bottom left-hand corner with his green and black theme on a green arena background is Kolbaz. So in 3, 2, 1, let the fight begin. Okay, folks, and now, folks, this is getting tense now because this is getting towards the semi-final. So what we're seeing is Kateron's going to come out with a 2 work part, 1 move, 1 carry creep, and we're going to see in the bottom here he's come out with a 4 harvest creep, 4 work part creeps. The work part's what you need to harvest the energy. Each work part only able to harvest a certain amount of energy each tick. So this is why you want more of those to harvest more energy. Remember, these sources regenerate energy. So although it has 1,000 in total, it regenerates 10 per tick. So right now what we're seeing is Kolbaz is actually harvesting it faster than it's regenerating. And he's going to come out here with his first early game aggression. He's going to be sending out this ranged attack creep. And meanwhile, we're seeing Kateron also coming out with his first attack creep here. His has some self-heal though, so it is able to better sustain. Kolbaz not having any healing with that one, but he is following it up with potentially a healing creep here. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's a healing creep, so he might be able to sustain here. Kateron, very confident here that he's going to be able to control that because he has put down a construction site for a rampart there, sorry. Now remember, the ramparts mean if he sits on top of that, whatever's on that rampart cannot take damage until that rampart is destroyed. Okay, and then we're going to see Kolbaz winning that fight here, but we're not seeing Kateron giving up just yet. He is going to be pushing through with another creep here, but it probably doesn't have, not enough power there to take it out, and he's going to lose both the worker and that extra attack part, and now Kolbaz has secured that top area there. It looks like neither of them have gone for the bottom one at all, but it looks like Kateron is misplaying here, sending in a worker first despite not controlling that area, and Kolbaz is going to be very easily able to take that out, and he is going to be pushing forward now. Meanwhile, he has secured this area as well here just with a creep, just in case Cat tries anything crazy, but he's going to make a beeline straight into Cat's base here. Cat doesn't have anything really to defend, hasn't taken a flag or anything either for no bonuses, and it looks like this is going to be a really easy win because the economy is going to go down here, and it looks like Kolbaz is through to the semi-finals. Congratulations, Kolbaz, and commiserations, Cat, but you've done really well to get this far as well. It was a very interesting series of games we saw, so thank you very much to both of our competitors, and we'll see who's next. Okay, folks, the time has come for the semi-finals. So, it's getting close now. Who's going to be the best of this arena? So, remember, folks, I'm going to introduce the arena one more time. As I said, I'll keep doing. This is Power Split. So, in Power Split, the competitors don't start with any units at all. They have to create their own units. They can choose how to create these units. So they can put either lots of attack parts or movement parts or in whatever combinations they so desire. But they also have a very special ability as well, which is these flags that they start with. They start with 3 flags each, but they can only claim 1 of them. Now, the attack flag will boost the attack part on a creep. Now, attack parts can hit in a range of 1, and they do a lot more damage than their ranged counterparts, which can hit in a range of 3, but they can also do this funny ranged mass attack thing, which hits every enemy within a range of 3. Creeps can also have a heal part, and that heal part is the green flag, and it also looks green on the creep. I'll point out some of these colors later. And that heal part can either heal at range for less healing, or it can melee heal for more healing. Okay, so how do they get the resources to spawn their units, their creeps? Because this is, at the end of the day, an RTS. So if you look out here at this little yellow glowy square, that produces 10 energy per tick and starts with 1,000. They need to use what are called work parts. Now, these harvest a certain amount every tick. The more of those parts that you have, the more you're able to pull out of that source. Now, there's also these containers dotted around the map. Those you don't have to harvest at all. You can literally just go to them, pick up the energy, and run away with it and do whatever you want with it. So those containers obviously having a lot more accessible energy, but they don't regenerate at all. So once that energy is gone, it's gone. Okay, folks, let's get back to it. So in the first game of our semi-finals, we have Drake versus Metallics. Okay, in the bottom left-hand corner, we're going to see Drake. And in the top right-hand corner, we're going to see Metallics. So best of luck to both of you. And in 3, 2, 1, let the fight begin. Okay, folks, we're going to see early game economy stuff here going on. Now, this does make a little bit of a difference what they decide to do here, because, the amount of energy they can feed into the spawn determines, like, how big of creeps they can spawn, how often they can spawn creeps, that kind of thing. Okay, in the bottom here, Drake has his 6 work parts in total between these two. Both of them just have a carry part, so this creep would have had to have dragged those there, because remember, a movement part can be used to move another creep as well by pulling it, basically. Okay, and the flag that's being claimed, as we've seen as the most popular one, is going to be the ranged attack flag from Drake. Meanwhile, Metallics has not claimed a flag yet, leaving his options open until later. He is going to be throwing down his first extensions, and remember, extensions can be loaded with energy, and when you load those with energy, you can then use that energy to increase the amount of spawn power you have, because spawns, if you look, are limited in the amount of energy they can have, so it can have a maximum of 1,000, and once you've hit that, you can't go above it without extensions. So there's extensions playing a crucial role in allowing the spawning of bigger creeps. Okay, Drake has taken the bottom here. He is now putting down some ramparts, and it might be a tower there. Yeah, that is a tower, so he's got a rampart and a tower, meaning he's locking that down. Metallics has taken that container though, where he's going to take advantage of that energy, but Drake is pushing through with some aggression here, probably going to make a straight for a beeline, either for the... Oh no, he's pushing straight into Metallics' forces. Might not have enough here, but he is going to be chased off. Running away quite effectively. Some beautiful kiting code of seeing here. Drake has also taken advantage of his container, not used all the energy yet. He is going to secure the top source as well, which means that economically Drake does have the advantage right now, because he does have this source pretty much locked down with a tower, and he's harvesting it quite effectively, and he's also now taken the top, slapped down a rampart, which means that that creep cannot be attacked until that rampart is destroyed. Oh, that's interesting. Did not expect that. So Metallics is also sending his own worker here and building his own extensions. But okay, Drake is going to say less of that nonsense, thank you, and just takes out that creep. That was a very interesting play. Probably no checking there to see if the enemy was already harvesting that one, which was an interesting little thing to see. Okay, Drake pushing through onto Metallics' side of the board with some of his attack creeps there. Pushing straight from Metallics' attack creeps rather than pushing towards the spawn. That was interesting. Not sure if he's got enough power here, though, to end the game, but he is ahead of Metallics. Metallics now splitting up his forces, chasing after Drake's creeps. Drake's creep there, backed into a corner. Unfortunately, that was a bad play from him, getting pushed into the corner by Metallics. Metallics was able to take that out. Obviously, not enough power here to take out the spawn, and he's going to lose another unit here. And oh no, he kites it effectively. Oh, but then he gets pushed into that corner. These corners here being death zones for Drake. Again, remember folks, they do have to pass through this little area here, and that area is just like a one thick tile. So this is why I try and divide the map into Drake's side versus Metallics' side. And so far we've seen a lot of excursion of Drake into Metallics' territory, but not so much the other way around yet, but maybe Metallics is waiting for the right opportunity to do that. But unfortunately, Metallics really needs to do something, otherwise he's going to be at a big disadvantage going forward in the game, because Drake does control all of the economy right now. Now, he did make a little bit of a push here, but he pushed past this tower here. Now, remember, the towers do a lot of damage if the enemy creeps are close to them, and he just passed straight through it. Drake's very easily able to keep it reloaded, and that means it's going to be an easy loss for Metallics there. Metallics now completely out of an army there after that bad push, and Drake now, he's going to push towards this bottom container, potentially trying to stop that nonsense there, but he could potentially just make a beeline for the spawn here. Metallics way behind in economy, so that's going to potentially add badly for him. Oh, Metallics got a dancing creep there. That dancer just taken out by one of Drake's creeps. Drake now sending even more forces to Metallics' side of the board, Pushing, though, again, after this tower, that might not work out too well for him, but he manages to do a little bit of damage to this rampart, but it's not particularly useful right now because remember, folks, the tower, one, has a very limited range. It's not like Screeps World, where it's basically an unlimited range. And also, like, depending on how close you are to the tower, its effectiveness changes massively. So really right now, Drake doesn't need to be messing around too much with that tower. He could be pushing to the spawn instead. And it looks like he's going to do that now. His bot seemed to switch priority. So if you remember, this is Screeps Arena. They can't manually intervene at all. So whatever behaviors you're seeing are programmed in behaviors. So, you know, and they only have a certain amount of CPU power as well, so they don't have an unlimited compute power. So even if you see some odd behaviors, that doesn't mean they're a bad player or anything. It's always going to be that trade-off between trying to program in optimal behaviors and trying to balance how much of the compute power that you're using. So the Screeps Arena is an interesting game in that regard. And remember, if you look in the description, you can get a discount on it if you go to that link and use this discount code SYNAP. Okay, we're seeing Metallics here. He's just dancing around with his units. Remember, every action that you take does cost a certain amount of CPU, so there's a fixed cost on top of whatever computing you're doing to like move a unit or tell it to attack, that kind of thing. Oh dear, Metallics pushing out with this economy creep, not taking into account the fact that Drake's army is sat right on his doorstep. Metallics now pushed into this corner, quite literally, as Drake is building up his forces, potentially waiting for the right moment to move in, and now we're going to see it, taking out another economy creep. Metallics here, going to lose his economy, no economy left, no attack left, and his spawn is going to go down very quickly, and congratulations to Drake. That was a very interesting fight. Drake, though, able to maintain that economic advantage, which ultimately played off. Congratulations to both of them for getting so far in this game. Okay, folks, we're going to be moving on to our next semi-final game in a minute. Let me just check one thing. Be right back. Okay. I do have some news. 04 doesn't like my back soon thing, so he sent me a better one, which I will just upload in right now. Obviously, what I have is a bit boring, so let me just change that and I will literally be back soon. Got to keep 04 happy. 04 is putting in a lot of work behind the scenes. He's the one running all of these games. He's also like coordinating with me, saying, "Oh, don't forget something or another," that kind of thing. So, hats off to him and hats off to the devs. They work very hard to bring this to us, and he just basically designed this back soon, which is obviously a lot better than what I had before. So thank you very much, 04, for that. And we're back soon. Okay. Our next semi-final match that we have is Sneaky Polar Bear versus our favorite Hungarian sausage, Kolbaz. So Sneaky is very sneaky, but we'll see if his sneakiness allows him to sneak and win this game as well. Okay, so in the top right-hand corner, for the final semi-final game, we have Sneaky Polar Bear with his beautiful light blue badge, and in the bottom left-hand corner with his confusing green on green is Kolbaz. So in 3, 2, 1, let the fights begin. Okay, and we're going to see straight away Kolbaz going for the ranged attack flag. Sneaky Polar Bear not taking a flag at all. Early game economy, they're both going for that grabbing of the source rather than the containers nearby. I can't comment on which one's better. I haven't done the maths for it. But it seems to be a consensus among the players that that's what they do. Kolbaz doesn't have carry on his creep, which means he is going to be losing energy every tick. So remember, these work parts are needed to pull the energy out of those sources. And if there's no carry part on the creep, which it's used to, as the name suggests, carry resources, it just drops the resources onto the ground. We are going to see Sneaky Polar Bear doing his usual early game aggression now. He's pushing out with 2 creeps to the bot and 3 creeps looking like they're going to go top. Economy-wise, he does have 3 work parts there. I think Kolbaz is similar, but he is losing energy every tick because he doesn't have the carries to pick it up. And we're going to see the first little skirmish here. Kolbaz taking out one of Polar Bear's creeps. Another creep there from Polar Bear taking a lot of damage, not quite removed yet. Sorry, forgive me. And then the second creep following up is a healer from Kolbaz, but that healer has been caught out of position. Sneaky Bullerman not quite having enough damage to kill it, but he is pushing it straight into another creep. But that healer now is realizing, hey, I've got friends, and his friends have arrived, and he's pushing back against Sneaky Bullerman, taking out the creep that was just chasing him. Kolbaz is holding up near this source at the top here, obviously trying to either claim it or deny it to Sneaky, but Sneaky does have creeps that are pushing into Kolbaz territory, but Kolbaz waiting for him there with his own ranged attack creep, very easily taking out that early game aggression. So Sneaky Polar Bear here has pushed and taken out a creep here from Kolbaz that was trying to claim this container. We'll see if he has the code to realize that's dead and push out again. So Kolbaz is now building up forces here. He has pushed into Sneaky's side. He's pushing straight into Sneaky's territory here. Going to take out that ranged attack creep, and now he does have more of an access to Sneaky's spawn here. Sneaky has some creeps that are hovering behind, but really he needs to use everything he's got to stop this push. It might be too late for him though. Kolbaz is now currently in Sneaky territory, but he didn't push forward, so he hasn't taken out the economy. He could have pushed forward and taken the economy there, but he didn't, meaning that Sneaky is safe for now, but that was very close. If he just pushed forward, he might have been able to wreck this economy here near the spawn, if not take out the spawn itself. Now, behind the scenes, off the back of that push of Kolbaz, Sneaky is the one who's able to take control of this source, meaning he does get the economic advantage for it. He does have a rampart, but he didn't have one of his creeps on a rampart, so that's going to go down. Kolbaz here going to desperately try and reclaim control of this here. He's currently unable to kill that creep because it is on a rampart, but he just took out the rampart and he just took out that source as well. So Sneaky doesn't have control. Meanwhile, Kolbaz is uncontested in his control in the bottom here. Sneaky Polar Bear has used all of this resource in this container now, has a store of 0. So remember folks, the container doesn't regenerate resources. It just, it can be taken very quickly and used to basically fill these extensions, which can help Sneaky get some nice spawn power. Kolbaz is in Sneaky territory here. He does have 3 creeps here looking to push towards the spawn again. Sneaky, however, with a big fat melee creep. So remember folks, this red is melee, and that does more damage than the ranged attack. But unfortunately, it has to be in a distance of 1. The ranged attack can be in a distance of 3. Oh, and Kolbaz has just pushed past and ignored it. Oh, that was a fatal mistake here, because now that creep is able to push into the spawn and push straight into Kolbaz territory, and he's going straight for the economy, taking those out. This is going to be a loss for Kolbaz. Oh my goodness. Sneaky did not kill the spawn here. Another slight misplay, and Kolbaz, unfortunately, on the back. We're going to do a little bit of a rewind, because this is the semi-finals. We want to see what happened at the top here, because that could have been a win for Sneaky if he just went for the spawn there. He had a lot of melee power there. But Kolbaz here is going to push, as we saw, into Sneaky territory. So remember, that melee creep is doing its thing at the same time. This was very close. And there we go. Kolbaz this time actually pushing forward, taking out all of Sneaky's economy. Maybe that creep was retreating because it realized it was in danger back home. Maybe Sneaky can give us some insight what happened there. And maybe he has this code that retreats everything if his spawn's in danger. Let's have a look at what that creep is doing right now. Yes, as we can see, it is retreating. So maybe that is the case. Sneaky can probably answer that himself. But yeah, unfortunately, he could have just taken out the spawn, but too little, too late. And yeah, he did lose here. So congratulations to Kolbaz, our favorite Hungarian sausage, is through to the finals. I'm not very good at these transitions. I apologize. I'm very slow at swapping tabs, you see. Okay, folks, before we look at the next match, which is going to be to see who can claim the bronze medal, here is that promo code again as promised. So if you go for all our world players or people who are interested in getting into world. So for our arena players that are watching this and might not be familiar with Screeps World, Screeps World is a persistent MMO RTS version of Screeps Arena, essentially. So instead of just being the one arena, it's lots of rooms, and you can claim multiple rooms, and you can harvest resources, that kind of thing. There's alliances, there's wars, there's all sorts that goes on. And what this promo code is for an access key, and this gives you access to the new shard, which is called Shard X, which has a faster runtime. Now, if you want to start getting into World, you can do so with a 5% discount if you look in the description on my YouTube channel, and I think it should also be on the official Screeps YouTube channel as well as their Twitch. there should be a link there. If you go to that link and use the discount code SYNAP, which is SYNAP, you get a 5% discount on all Screeps related purchases. That's both for Arena and for World. And yes, that link will that code will also work on top of any existing promotions that are also currently ongoing. And with that, let's see who is going to win third place. So, congratulations for getting this far, by the way. You know, this is no small achievement, and we have seen some pretty amazing games. But for the third place match, we're going to be seeing Metallics versus Sneaky Polar Bear. So, in the bottom left-hand corner, with his cool blue logo, is Sneaky Polar Bear. And in the top right-hand corner, also with a cool blue logo, is Metallics. Maybe cool blue is the strategy here to get through to the final rounds, but a joke obviously doesn't really affect. Let's get started. Okay. Early game economies, we've seen them quite a lot so far, but just as a reminder, these sources contain energy, they regenerate 10 as tick. You need work parts, which are these yellow parts here, to collect that energy and then feed it into your spawn. Once you've fed it into the spawn, you can then use that to create new units, and basically the more energy you can get, the faster you can get it from these, the more you're able to spawn these units. Okay, and we're going to see Sneaky Polar Bear's sneaky classic early game aggression coming out right now. No one's pushed out towards the containers at all at this stage, which is interesting. We did see an early game container grab that worked quite well actually earlier. Oh, there we go. Now we're seeing Metallics making a beeline here for the container at the bottom, and he's also put down an extension. So as I mentioned, you need to put energy into the spawn to do spawning, but you can also put it into these extensions, and what that allows you to do is get more energy for spawning. Now, your spawn is capped at 1,000 energy. Now, each body part on a creep requires energy to make, so the more extensions you have, basically, the more total energy you have, the more you're able to build that up. Okay, we are going to see Sneaky Polar Bear, though, pushing towards this container. Now, this creep is on a rampart, which is going to make it harder to kill. Now, ramparts, remember, if those are down, you have to kill the rampart before you can kill what ever is on the rampart. Metallics are able to push off Sneaky Polar Bear. The Sneaky Polar Bear actually trapping that creep there, but that creep is a bit stronger from Metallics, and it is able to push back Sneaky Polar Bear's early game aggression. I believe it's got some self-healing. Let's take a look. Yeah, it does have self-healing, so it can fix itself up from whatever damage it has. Just as a reminder for how that works, so if we look at this creep here, it has a certain number of body parts. As it takes damage, those body parts will die. As those die, they can't be used anymore. And also it goes from left to right. So the first one to die here will be this Tough. Now, Tough is useless. It's very cheap to build in terms of the energy cost, but what it basically means is if he takes damage, it's a useless body part that's the first to die first. Now, we are going to see Metallics controlling this bottom source here, and he has put down a tower. Now, the tower we saw just utilized very effectively there to do damage. Now, it's questionable who controls this top one, because they both have workers there. But Sneaky Polar Bear, it was very sneaky with that, but unfortunately he is going to lose that worker, meaning Metallics is in control of both of the extra sources now, able to get that extra economy, and the economy is super important, because remember, the more energy you get, the more you can feed in. Sneaky Polar Bear here, losing a lot of resources to this tower. Remember, the towers can do a lot of damage, but they do require energy to fire, and the closer you get to the tower, the more damage it can do. So it's sometimes worth holding off actually firing it to make it more energy efficient and maybe also make it harder to refill. Okay, we are going to see Sneaky Polar Bear, I'm getting a mix up here, Metallics pushing out here to try and reclaim the source from Sneaky Polar Bear. My apologies, they both have blue badges. I did get it wrong before. Metallics is not the one in control up here. It is Sneaky Polar Bear right now. Sorry about that. Okay, Sneaky Polar Bear controls the top. And also, sorry, Sneaky Polar Bear does control the bottom as well. I did get them mixed up. I do apologize for that, sincerely. It's not good enough. Okay, we are going to see a push here as both of them push out. So this is Metallics with this symbol, and this is Sneaky Polar Bear with that symbol. And this fight might be a big one here, because we are in Sneaky Polar Bear territory. So if Metallics is able to win this fight, he might be able to push to the spawn quite effectively. We are going to slow down a little bit, because this is, the third place match, so it is quite an important one. And Sneaky Polar Bear here is going to be losing his attack here. We do have these creeps here in the back line that are able to sustain a little bit, but it looks like Metallics might be able to take those out, and yes, indeed, he is going to take those out. But Sneaky Polar Bear is spawning more creeps, and he does have some in reserve. Not sure if Metallics Metallics has enough here to push through and win. Metallics also desperately trying to shut down the economy of Sneaky Polar Bear here, but Sneaky Polar Bear right now able to keep those extensions going, meaning he's able to get lots of energy for spawning because he's got these extensions filling and he has those extensions filling at the bot. But it might not matter because Metallics is pushing forward here. He is getting towards the spawn here, which is quite risky for Sneaky Polar Bear. Sneaky Polar Bear is exposed here, but again, he's taking full advantage of the fact that he's able to spawn more creeps, but it might not be enough because Metallics has already built up enough force. The spawn is taking damage here right now, but will it be enough? We're not quite sure here. So the spawn is currently on full health because he is able to fill it up, but his economy at the spawn is taking a lot of damage here. Oh, and that might have been a misplay. So Sneaky Polar Bear is actually respawning his economy creeps as a priority, seemingly, which is not a great play because he does. So even though he doesn't have, he's lost actually all of his economy. I completely missed that at the bottom there, but he does still have resources filling these ones here. It might be better just to rely on those extensions. But it looks like it might be Metallics here that's able to claim that third place. But flipping heck, that was close. Oh, that was interesting. So Metallics has backed off. Is Sneaky doing an attack up here? No. This is the first miracle of Sneaky Polar Bear in this game. Because Metallics could have had the win there, but he decided not to push his advantage for whatever reason. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Perhaps he could give some explanation maybe in the comments whether he's watching. And 04 can collect that for us. Okay, Sneaky Polar Bear is going to be pushing out with one of his... Oh, this is just a healer. Interesting. Metallics is guarding this swamp, not going to let him through, but also there is this tower here, which means pushing through that area is going to be quite difficult. Okay, Metallics is now also... oh, sorry, I completely missed the ending there. It looks like, yeah, he did actually, in the end, push forward with those creeps to win. Let's just have a quick look at that. We'll go a little bit faster. Okay, as expected. Yeah, push through, kill the spawn. There we go. Well played to Metallics. Congratulations, you're taking home the third place medal. Okay, folks, we're going to be looking at the final match now. But before we do that, for those of us just joining, just for the final now, let's do one last recap of how this arena actually works. So we're looking at an arena today called Power Split. Now, in Power Split, unlike what we did yesterday, there are no units that you start with, and you have to create your units using a spawn here. Now, the player can choose how to spawn these units, so they can put as many attack parts, move parts, that kind of thing as they want, but they're limited by the energy, the amount of energy they have to do that. Energy is the resource required for spawning. So how do you get energy? Well, you harvest it from these yellow squares here. These are called sources. Now, these regenerate energy at 10 per tick, but a lot of players will try and harvest it faster than that because they do start with 1,000 energy as well. And basically, the more of that energy you grab, the more spawning power that you have. Additionally, we're also going to see these containers on the map. Now, containers don't have to be harvested. So with the sources, you have to hit them with these work parts, and it's a slow, laborious process. With a container, you can go there, pick up a load of energy and bring it back. But once they're empty, that is it. There is nothing else that refills those containers. So it's you got to use that energy a little bit wisely, and we've seen the players use that energy in different ways. Okay. Just as another reminder, there's also Swamp on the map. Swamp slows you down. And don't worry, I will keep on explaining mechanics as I've been doing as the games go on. But right now, we're going to be looking at the finals match here between Drake and our favourite Hungarian sausage, Kolbaz. And congratulations to both of these players. You've both made it through to the finals of this arena. And it's been really amazing watching both of you play. And okay, in the bottom left-hand corner, we've got our favourite Hungarian sausage, Kolbaz. And in the top right-hand corner, we have Drake. And in 3, 2, 1, let the match begin. Okay, we're going to see the early game economy playing out here. I'm just going to slow this down a little bit for the finals. Okay, so we're seeing the three work parts and a carry, which means he is going to be picking up those resources. And in the bottom here, we're seeing Kolbaz. He's got also creeps that have work parts through, but some of them don't have carry, which is why the energy is dropping on the ground, so this only has work. Now remember, if the energy drops on the ground, he does lose an energy per tick, which is less than ideal. So it's not quite sure who's ahead economy-wise here, but there you go. We're seeing Drake coming out now with another worker creep, this one having a lot more work parts here, and it's going to be slapping down his first extension. So remember, Spawn has a certain amount of energy it can have, which in this case is a maximum of 1,000. And if you want to spawn bigger creeps, so remember each body part on the creep requires a certain amount of energy. So to support bigger creeps, you need more extensions. Okay, this we haven't seen before really. This is called a road. Now roads are really interesting. What they do basically is it switches off the swamp. And it also increases the speed of creeps that go over it. So by having roads there, Drake is able to move faster over the swamp, which is an interesting play. He's only put one down, so it's just that one tile. And as we saw, that creep can move faster over it, but then that's it. He can't move faster again. We are seeing him here taking this container at the bottom here, putting down 3 construction sites, because remember, you can't just slap buildings down. You do need to build them. So he's building 3 extensions there, taking that one, and he has taken the top source as well. So he's controlling 2 of these sources. 2 sources already. This bottom source is currently unclaimed by either player. Drake is moving some aggression down there, though, with that creep. So Kolbaz, he could have pushed out earlier, but he's building up his forces before he does so. And what we're going to see is a trio that we've seen before from him, which is 2 ranged attack and a melee creep. 2 ranged attack and a healer creep. So the blue is ranged attack, and the green is heal. And now if they have mixed body parts, you'll also see a mixture of those colors as well. Okay, so he's going to push straight to Drake's resources here that he's harvesting completely uncontested. So, although Drake has claimed that he's not actually managed to take advantage of it at all, because he doesn't have any extensions around, so he's not actually collected any energy from there. He has, however, taken full advantage of this down here, and he has built a rampart. Now, the rampart will allow him to pass through this area, but it doesn't allow the enemy to pass through. And remember, if a unit is on a rampart, like we're seeing here, this rampart needs to be destroyed before the unit can be taken down. Oh, and then we just saw a tower coming down. That tower has just been placed by Drake. Sorry, that wasn't an extension he was building. It was a tower. Now, towers do a massive amount of damage in melee range, and Kolbaz is going to be losing his trio there. That is a big loss. That is a lot of resources he just lost. And Drake now has the economy advantage because he's building these extensions and filling them, and he's also used his container here to fill those extensions. And it looks like Kolbaz is a little bit on the back foot as Drake has definitely pushed into his side of the field, because remember, there's these one width channels here that separate these 2 halves from the board, and it looks like Drake has now just pushed himself right outside of Kolbaz's spawn, building up his forces, waiting for the right moment so he's got enough power to push through and potentially end the game here. Now, Kolbaz did try and push out here, or we can see he partially built this extension, but unfortunately too little too late, and Drake controls the field. But Kolbaz here looking to wrestle back control a little bit, coming out with another one of his trios, and Drake is all split up here, and Drake is backing off into a corner. He's got this creep going into this dead end. Obviously the devs put these dead ends to be annoying like this, but it's really interesting to see, unfortunately, the player falling for this. Now, don't judge him too harshly, because remember, folks, they are very limited in the amount of compute power they are allowed to use in each of the steps in this game, and checking for these dead ends, that kind of thing, can be quite difficult to do. But yeah, unfortunately for him, he did end up in a dead end, and he did lose a creep there. Now, he is chasing after this trio, and this trio is pushing him off of his side. The base a little bit, he does have a defender there, so maybe it is a good idea for Drake to try and get away a little bit here. I believe Kolbaz does have more attack power, but this trio is going to go down because actually he doesn't, and this tower, of course, is coming into play now. Drake able to successfully bait this trio away, and Kolbaz is going to lose all 3 of those creeps. An unfortunate loss for him, and another big chunk of resources gone. Now, Drake has utilized all of this container down here, so he's getting no advantage from it, but he does control both of these sources here, and he's pretty much fortified his positions, putting down towers, meaning Kolbaz is definitely behind economically. Drake here chasing after another one of Kolbaz's creeps. This one is a work creep, but unfortunately he wasn't checking, and if he was, he would have realized that that tower damage is way too much for him to handle. Drake right now looking like he might be trying to break through this center wall here, maybe. I'm not quite sure what this work part creep is doing, but it's not doing too much. He is going to be building up forces again, going to be pushing towards Kolbaz's spawn. And he's building up right outside of it here. Obviously not quite enough to push through because Kolbaz is holding on here, putting in more defenders. and we'll see what's going to happen in a minute, I guess, because, yeah, Drake just has to build up his forces. Kolbaz is very difficult for him to pull a win out of this now. He's behind economically. He's struggling to leave his spawn. Drake has these towers down, which means he is able to do a lot more damage than Kolbaz can. Okay, we might see Kolbaz pushing out here as before. That's probably a pre-programmed behavior. And Drake is going to skirmish with it. But actually, Drake has more attack power here now than he has before. And he is going to take out that trio. Only the healer left alive. Now, he could push into the spawn now because Kolbaz has nothing, but he's not. He's holding out here. Not quite sure why, because this is just a healer. There's literally no attack power. This spawn is completely open right now. Again, not quite sure what checks are going on in the background. Maybe if Jake wants to in the Discord or something, he can tell us. Okay, now we're seeing another ranged attack creep, but I believe Drake actually has far more attack power here sitting right outside of the spawn. It could be a pre-programmed behavior to wait for a certain amount of time before he goes in. That's potentially a common thing to do because it guarantees he's built up a certain number of forces potentially. I am going to fast forward a little bit though till we see what's going to happen here. Okay, this is just another trio pushing out. That's not going to do anything. Okay, we're waiting for Drake to push in. Okay, folks. Again, this is probably a pre-programmed behavior. Maybe at what exactly 1,500? No, maybe not. Okay, now he's going in. There we go. And it's going to be a very easy win for him there. Overwhelming force from Drake. And congratulations to Drake. You take the gold medal. And congratulations to Kolbaz as well, because you're taking the silver medal. These were really interesting games to see. And I'm very interested in like some of the decisions that were made, because we did see some, let's say, suboptimal behaviors. Not quite sure what went wrong for the players there, but maybe in the Discord or on the stream, they might want to let us know. Great. Thank you very much. And don't go away, folks, because it's not over yet, because as O4 very kindly reminded me, don't worry, I hadn't actually forgotten this time because, you know, I wouldn't let that happen a second time, is the advanced mode. So what we've just seen now is the tournament for what's called the basic level. So this is basically a more simpler version. What we're going to look at now is the more complicated version of the same arena. And we'll talk about those rules in a little bit. But if you just give me a few minutes, we're going to take a little bit of a break just while I get that set up. Thank you very much, and we'll be right back. Okay, folks, we're back. Okay, now we're going to look at the finals for the advanced version of this arena. Now, the advanced version is a little bit different, and let's just talk about some of those differences before we dive straight into it. So first of all, instead of the one flag that we saw before that gives a bonus, you can now capture 2 flags. And there is an additional flag that's available for a move part. Now, pardon me, move parts are the parts that move the other parts, and by bonusing them, essentially, you need fewer move parts for your other parts to move them. So if you, for example, this 100% bonus means 1 move part can move 2 other parts, if that makes sense. I apologize if that wasn't too clear. Now, we still have the other flags, the bonus for the heal. Remember, you can do a melee heal for more healing or a ranged heal for less healing. A ranged attack, which can do less damage than a melee attack. But remember, it's the blue flag for that one. And it does a 100% ranged attack bonus. And we can also do a ranged mass attack, which is you hit everything belonging to an enemy within 3. And the attack flag is still there as well. Now, the attack part is only melee, but it does do a lot of damage. But of course, you need to get into that melee. And as we've seen already in some of the earlier games, getting into that melee can be really difficult. Okay. There is also additional sources and containers around the map. The game timer now, before it was 2,000 ticks, now it's 5,000 ticks. So they are able, the games will be a little bit longer, but that doesn't mean the games will last longer because, one player might push through. I believe there's also additional ramparts on the map as well, but we will look at that. Now, because this is... because this is an advanced version, we do have far fewer players here. So you probably recognize some of these other these names from the other ones. Yeah. Sorry, forgive me. You recognize some of these names from the previous set of games, but there are, like I say, fewer players, so we're not going to quite do the 8 finals, quarterfinals, that kind of thing. So, first of all, let's get these system games out of the way. Now, I do apologize to UAP and Metallics. You do have to fight each other. These 3 basically get a free pass. If you want to shoot someone, shoot 04. He's doing all of this behind the scenes. I just do the commentary. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to system, and we're going to talk a little bit about the map. But don't worry, I'm not going to introduce a bot that doesn't have any code. System is basically the default here. These are ramparts that are owned by System. These are ramparts that are owned by Kirobi-san. So Kirobi-san can push through here very easily, but it's much harder for him to push through the bottom one, essentially. And, okay, we're not going to watch this because, like I said, this is just empty code. So we'll just skip through this one here. And, yeah, there you go. Oh. That's interesting. I'm quite rounded to the end. My apologies. There you go. The spawn is down. And so that means Kirobi wins that one. Okay. 04. I'm sure it's okay if I don't click on all of these system games. I don't need to click on this to make anything happen, do I, or anything like that. But while you're answering that, I'm just going to dive straight into the game that is actually of interest, which is UAP versus Metallics. Okay, so now we're on to the first game the only actual game in the quarterfinals. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have UAP. And in the top right-hand corner, we have Metallics. So, for the first actual game that we're going to watch in this advanced version of the arena, let the fight begin. Okay, and straight off the bat, we're going to see 2 flags being claimed by Metallics here. He's going to be going for the movement bonus and the attack creep bonus. That's quite interesting, so not the ranged attack. Meanwhile, we're seeing UAP has not actually taken a flag here. Economy-wise, he is using a creep that's dropping resources onto the ground. So remember, if he doesn't have a carry part, he's going to be wasting resources every tick. But it could be worth it still because you still actually get more harvesting power from those... work parts there. Okay, looking back here at Metallics. Metallics has built a container. This is not very useful for him except that it can store energy, but it doesn't, enable him to spawn more or anything. And he is going to be putting down a tower, which is a bit of a defensive play here. We're just going to go to a slightly faster tick right here as we get through the early game. Okay, we are going to see some early game aggression coming out here, but it's getting stuck. UAP has got a ranged attack and with some self-heal. Okay, folks. Metallics also not really building up force. Neither of them are pushed out to their containers or anything right now. I'm not sure why UAP has decided that this is the place to build up his forces. Oh, but he is chomping away at this wall here. So if he gets through this wall here, he's basically bypassed all of these ramparts. Interesting strategy, because he is going to get himself access to this source, and he's also going through his ramparts and chomping away at this wall here. Now, this is quite interesting, because if he chomps this one away, it is between these two ramparts, meaning that he can take advantage of it, but his opponent can't. Now we're seeing even more towers going down from Metallics. Metallics here playing a very defensive game. Look at the number of those towers going down, and we can see why he's building up this energy now, because once he's got it in this container here, he can sit one creep on top of that container and very easily grab energy and refuel those towers, seems to be the play here. Meanwhile, we're now seeing a chain from UAP as he pushes through here, breaking through the middle. He's actually gone around through here, and now he's helping the rest of his guys break through here. He now controls these containers in the middle, and he also controls this source in the middle, but he's not taking advantage of it just yet, but maybe he will later. We are going to see Metallics pushing out, so he seems to be doing a tower push. So what he's doing here is he seems to be making like a line of towers that's pushing out. That's really interesting. We didn't see that in the normal version of this arena, but we are going to see UAP here diving through all of that, looking to push into the base, but there's a lot of tower damage here, and he's just going to lose all of that stuff before he even gets to the swamp even. And Metallics here still just going to push out with those towers. It's a really interesting play from him. Like I said, we didn't see that before in the other arena at all. But remember, the towers do a lot of damage, and they do even more damage if you're close, so he wants to possibly push this line out, maybe all the way to the spawn. We'll see how this goes. But yeah, and now they do have more time to play with. This is crucial. So obviously this tower building strategy is quite a slow strategy. It's going to very slowly push out these towers. Now, remember, this game we can actually see goes on for 3,400 ticks. Now, remember, the time limit in the last one was 2,000, so they have more time to play with, more time to do these really slow tactics. Okay, UAP is just feeding his creeps in a little bit here. Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. I clicked the timeline at the bottom, my apologies. Sorry, let's keep going. So we're seeing, the tower line pushing towards the ramparts here that he controls. So he has already broken down this bit here. I didn't see that happen, my apologies. But he might be pushing, yeah, he is exactly doing that. He's just going to be building this tower line all the way to the spawn. I wonder if we just fast forward a little bit here. So we're going to go to a much faster speed here. And yep, there we go. See, the tower line is just going to keep pushing out, pushing out, pushing out. UOP is just feeding creeps. He's not playing much for an economy or anything like that. And these towers are just going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And it's getting harder and harder for UOP. And, oh, sorry, I completely missed the ending there. Let's play from here and let's see how this goes. Okay, Metallics here, he actually has two big melee creeps that so he did build this massive tower line, but he's obviously realized that he doesn't actually need it to win because he can just send two big fat creeps through, and he's going to send these two through, and those are going to go straight for the spawn, nothing defending it, and Metallics is the winner. Congratulations to Metallics, you're through to the next round. Okay, now we're going to look at the first game in the semi-finals. And this is going to be a Drake versus Metallic. So Drake got a free pass because he was against System. And obviously, System doesn't matter. So Drake versus Metallics. Here we go. In the bottom left-hand corner, with his blue badge, we have Metallics. And in the top right-hand corner, we have Drake. Let the game begin. Okay, so right away, we're going to see Drake taking the heal and the move. So Drake is going to have a bonus to his healing, whereas Metallics has gone for the move and the basic attack this time. So now we're going to see this tower strategy playing out essentially again. So Drake has gone very well for the early game economy, taking this container that's down here. Now the container has a fixed amount of energy. Once that's gone, it's gone. He can't get that back at all. He is going to build another rampart here, which means it's going to be a little bit harder for Metallics to push through because he has to destroy that rampart before he's able to do so. He is taking the second source up there. There is a third source here as well that he now controls, meaning Drake is very much ahead in economy because he's got that container, he's got that source up there, and he's got a source here. There is this source down here, but that is a little bit harder for him to control just because Metallics could push stuff through these ramparts, and it's harder for him to counterattack because of the ramparts that are existing. Exist there. Sorry. Okay. Drake here is going to be breaking through the wall. So he's basically, remember, this is safer for Drake right now because through here, Metallics can't push to his base because of these ramparts that are owned by Drake. Drake now going to make a beeline straight for Metallics' base. We're going to see how this early game aggression plays out. Metallic, so he's got 2 towers down, so that's a lot of tower damage, but Drake does have the healing. He's beeline straight for the spawn. He's doing a lot of damage to the spawn. The spawn is going down. Drake is taking out Metallics' spawn, but he might not have enough here, and the spawn just hangs on with 400 hits left. That was a really close attack there. Drake almost taking out Metallics, but Metallics hanging on by the skin of his teeth there. The tower damage is just a little bit too great for Drake to handle. But remember, folks, Drake does have a very strong economy right now, controlling... so that container is now empty, so he's utilized all of that, so that doesn't count. But he does control this source here, and he has built a tower to lock down his control there, and he does control that source there, whereas Metallics has not pushed out at all to boost his economy. He's very much turtling with just the one source and the tower power. Drake, however, probably misplaying that a little bit. He should realize, hopefully, that the towers are going to be quite effective against him because, they do a lot of damage, so he needs to be sending more than just the one creep in, even if that spawn is tantalizingly close to dying. Now, I believe in this arena as well, you can fix your buildings, but Metallics doesn't seem to be doing that. I could be wrong on that, though. I do apologize. I'm not always 100% familiar with all the mechanics in Screeps Arena. Maybe someone can drop me a line and let me know if you can actually fix these, but either way, Metallics has not repaired the spawn, so it is still hovering really low, and Drake just cannot resist. Look at him sending in those creeps one by one to die. Metallics are pushing out his tower line, playing the long game here, and let's just fast forward a bit, because right now it looks like they are caught in this loop, and we'll see if they change strategies at all as we go on. But now we still see Drake feeding one by one as Metallics builds out his tower line here. Okay, now what we're going to see is this tower line has pushed out a lot more, and Metallics is starting to actually harvest another one of these sources here, and he's using it to refill the tower. So he's put down a container there so he can just fill that container with energy and keep these frontline towers better filled. Meanwhile, this container here is pretty much full nearly, and it's just like, this long game here from Metallics. Pushing out even more towers. Drake still filling in these creeps, one by one. Those are just going to die to tower shots, one after the other. This is a really interesting tactic, and it's definitely only something we can really see in the advanced version because of the extra time afforded to our competitors. Like, it's already on 2,600 ticks. If it was on the other version, the game would have timed out already. So we're going to fast forward a little bit more, just as we see this tower line pushing out, and he's using the towers, it seems, to take out these ramparts, maybe, which is an interesting play. Remember, they do a lot of damage here. And there we go, seeing more of the ramparts going down from tower shots. Drake still feeding out those creeps one by one. Probably not the best play right now. Okay, now we're seeing a big melee creep from Metallics. He's got 2 big melee creeps. They're going to be pushing forward into Drake's base now, taking out some of that economy that Drake was doing really well. And Metallics now has towers on Drake's side of the board. These towers being a perpetual pain. Drake, however, able to actually get 2 creeps going, able to successfully kite those melee creeps. Those are just going to go down quite easily. but it might be a little bit too late for Drake here, but we'll see. These towers are going to be very annoying for him to take out. Really, he should be trying to build up his forces a bit, but I'm not sure we're going to see that now because he keeps moving out with the creeps that he's spawning, and those creeps are getting very easily taken out by Metallics, but a little bit of a misplay there, and he was able to actually cut off these frontline towers completely. Metallics, though, going forward with some more of his attack creeps, and we'll just up the speed a little bit here. He's pushing towards the economy up here that belongs to Drake, but Drake using his tower quite effectively to stop him being able to push through those ramparts. And let's see how much damage he's actually done to it. So yeah, he's done more than half the hit points for it, but obviously not enough yet. And it looks like Metallics is reconnecting his tower line, and it looks like he's pushing it forward again. Drake, again, wasting some of his creeps here. Not going too well for him here. And let's just push forward again, and we're going to see another one of those melee creeps. Drake currently doesn't have anything to deal with it. He's just spawned one creep that could potentially kite it, but it's kiting too much, and Metallics is on the spawn, and Metallics takes out Drake's spawn there. Very annoying, very powerful tower line tactic from Metallics, something we didn't see in the original version, and I wonder how this is going to play out in the finals. That was a very interesting game. Thank you to both of our competitors, and let's move on to the next match. Okay, folks. Now, we haven't actually seen either of these players play yet, because both of them were against System, which is just an empty bot. So now we're going to see for the first time Kerobi-san and Dima fighting out each other for a spot in the finals. Okay, folks. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have Dima. And in the top right-hand corner, we have Kerobi. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Let the fight begin. Okay, folks, because this arena is a little bit slower, we are going to move to a faster tick rate off the start. Dima here is going to... Oh, that's a very interesting play. So he's spawned in attack creeps. He's taken an attack flag and he's taken a move flag. This is very unusual. A lot of early game aggression. He's burnt all of his resources pretty much in his spawn, not getting his early game economy going, but basically banking on being able to win just through sheer early game aggression here. Okay, Kerobi-san is also pushing out, but he's pushing out with more economy stuff here. Probably a little bit unaware of what Dima's doing here. Dima is now through the walls. Dima is... Oh, but the creep goes down because Kerobi managed to get this ranged attack creep and take that out. And this might be an easy win here for Kerobi if he can just push through now to Dima's spawn. But we'll see if he actually does that. Because I think he is. There we go. He's pushing around the top. There is this wall here that he needs to take out, but it looks like Dima is going to be completely disabled. He doesn't have much of an economy at all. And there you go. He's just sent out another attack creep. This is going to be too little too late, though. The attack creep is going to push out towards his ramparts. It is safe there, pushing out, taking down from the tower. And Kerobi is very easily able to push across here. Nothing left for Dima, and Dima's spawn is going to go down. So congratulations to Kerobi. That was a very ballsy play from Dima, but unfortunately it didn't work out. Okay, folks. We're now going to be looking at the third place match, but before we do that, just give me 1 second. So, promotion time. If you are a Screeps World player, or you are interested in playing Screeps World, if you go to world.store.screeps.com and enter that promotional code, it will give you a free access key. There are no catches or anything like that. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Screeps World, an access key gives you access to the seasonal events, which are probably more akin to Arena because they're short events with interesting mechanics, after which the whole thing is wiped, and then there's another season that happens after that. So the access keys can be used to get access to that, or they can be used to get access to the new Shard X. So Shard X is a new region of Screeps World, which gives you a faster tick rate, and it's also very connected to the rest of the game as well. So for those of you who are Screeps Arena players and aren't aware of what World is, like I said, there's the Seasons part of World, but there's also the Persistent World, which is basically an MMO RTS. Same thing though, you're still programming your creeps to play the game. Also, if you are interested in making any of these purchases, if you look in the description of either the YouTube video or the Twitch, wherever you're watching this, you should see a link and a discount code. Now, that link, if you go to it and use the discount code, you do get 5% off on any of your Screeps-related purchases, and it does also help the channel as well. And yeah, if you're looking to try out either Arena from World or World from Arena, whichever, now might be a good chance to grab them. So thank you very much, and without further ado, let's get on with the third place match. Now, we did see Dima doing a lot of really early game aggression here in the previous match, and we're going to see if he's doing the same thing here and whether it works out for him. So, in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Dima, and in the top right-hand corner, we have Drake. So, in 3, 2, 1, let the fight begin. Okay, folks, again, we're going to go to a faster tick rate just because this is usually a little bit slower right at the start. And again, we're seeing Dima with his super early game aggression, going to try and break down that wall. Meanwhile, Drake is doing a pretty standard game, building up his economy here. Unfortunately, this might actually be a little bit of his downfall if he doesn't start making attack creeps, because now we're going to see Dima pushing up, but oh, Drake has already got attack creeps. This early game aggression from Dima just not working for him. He might have another stab at it here. He does have, so the spawn does passively build up energy, and he is using it just to throw out another one of these attack creeps, but it's probably too little too late right now, and Drake has now broken through, and he's pushing straight to the spawn. But oh, on the back line here, oh, this is a base race, because what we're seeing here, we do have a ranged attack creep chasing after Dima here as he makes a beeline for that spawn, but Drake is also beeline for Dima's spawn. And, oh, Dima's creep goes down, which means this is going to be an easy win to Drake. So congratulations to Drake. You take the third place prize. Okay, folks, and for the final match of tonight's stream, and I'd like to thank you all for watching tonight, is Metallics versus Kerobi in the Advanced Arena. So we've seen Metallics do his interesting turret strategy before, and we're gonna see how that works out now. So in the bottom left-hand corner is Metallics, and in the top right-hand corner is Kerobi. So in 3, 2, 1, let the game begin. Okay, so we're gonna see Metallics here taking the same flags as he did before with the attack and the move, and he's already starting his tower spam strategy. Kerobi doing a pretty standard economy opening, and his flags he's taken are the light ranged attack, the ranged attack flag, sorry, and the move there as well. Okay, he is dancing around this container. Okay, not quite sure. Oh, he's relaying the energy out of the container. That's really interesting. Normally what we've seen before is people building up around that container, but he's actually just taking it out using a creep like this one here, which is probably all, that's it. It's got 2 carry parts and a move part. Now, a crucial thing to think about is carry parts don't generate fatigue if they're empty. So basically, he's only got this, when this creep is empty, it's able to move to that container a lot faster, and then it moves back slower. Okay, he's now pushed through here. He doesn't control this rampart, but he's decided, I am not going to let Metallics take that source there. Not as if Metallics is going for that source, mind you. And anyway, Kerobi has secured his economy at the top, and he's also secured his economy there as well. He is going to be filling up that container, so what his strategy seems to be to build up his extensions maybe at his base, and then haul the energy back to his base potentially. But yeah, so he has put ramparts down there. He's not picking up energy. He has built a tower, but I'm not seeing many extensions going down except for the ones over here. So not quite sure what he's planning on doing with that energy. He is going to be pushing out now, though, heading towards the wall here, which he can try and break down. And once he's broken that wall down, as you can see, the hit points are going down. He can push through straight to Metallics' base, but Metallics has already done his tower spam, so he's going to need quite a lot of healing power if he's going to push through that. We're also seeing Kerobi doing his interesting one-move creeps. These are, again, just to accelerate movement over the over the swamp. So basically, creeps that have a move part can pull another creep, and basically he's using those to pull his other creeps, maybe it's his workers or his combats, across that swamp. They don't do any damage or anything themselves. Okay, he's now relayed all of the energy out of that container,
powering up that tower. Now, interestingly, the tower doesn't care about line of sight. That can actually shoot across here. So if Metallics was to try and take this area, Kurobi can control it with that tower as well. Now, Kurobi-san is building up a bit of a force down here, looking like maybe he wants to push through Metallics' rampart, maybe thinking that Metallics won't be focusing that. He's also securing this area here, slapping down ramparts on top of those walls, which means that if Metallics wanted to push through there, not only would he have to take out these walls, he would have to take out these ramparts as well, which is an interesting play. He is using this here. He does have a second spawn now as well, so he is able to spawn more units over here. So remember, folks, the creeps don't spawn instantly. So if you see that line ticking there, that's the creep spawning. It takes a certain number of ticks, depending on how big the creep is, for the creep to come out. He's used all the energy in this container as well. So economy-wise, he's definitely further ahead than Metallics, who seems to have stalled. Something's obviously gone wrong here. He does have his tower line, but he's not expanding it further. These creeps here, with the energy, obviously to keep these towers filled, aren't doing anything else, and he's not pushing out right now to build the tower. This worker, maybe he's realized that there's danger further ahead or something like that. I am not sure what's gone wrong here. But Metallics' infamous tower spam has come grinding to a halt. And what we're going to do here, folks, is Kurobi is now pushing through with this massive force that he's built up here. He might have enough here to actually just power his way through those towers. Oh, and there we go. We do see Metallics putting down a tower, and he is going to fuel it up. And it looks like he's back on track, building up the next tower in his tower chain. But will it be enough? Because Kurobi definitely has an economic advantage here. Not quite sure what he's doing with all of these creeps. A lot of wasted intents as those dance around. These ones here are just his move across the swamp fast creeps, so we're not too worried about those just sitting there. Metallics pushing his towers out. Okay, Kurobi making a break for it now. He's pushing straight towards those towers, and he's going to be one by one feeding all of those creeps, and Metallics' towers are just going to go pew, 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 and just take them out very easily. A bit of a waste of resources there from Kurobi, but it looks like he can afford it because he does have a lot more economy here than Metallics. Okay, we're just going to fast forward a little bit here because there's not too much going on as Metallics continues to push out his towers and Kurobi continues to feed his creeps one by one. Oh, actually, we just saw a big thing there. So what we're seeing here is Metallics is breaking down that wall, pushing into that Kurobi area here where he has that extra source and extra spawn. We have seen that tower there has been shooting all of this stuff, so that is going to go down, and that extra spawn is going to go down. Metallic's now pushing out with that extra melee creep, but that melee creep is now, it was being kited, but that creep is at too much of a range. Kurobi successfully taking a lot of his army back, but you know, a door once open can be stepped through two ways, and Kurobi is taking full advantage now of that wall being down, pushing through a lot of these towers now out of energy. Metallics unable to keep them loaded. But it looks like Kurobi is not taking advantage of that. Now, it could be a strategy for Kurobi just to feed units. Like, he's got the economy here just to burn units and make Metallics waste those tower shots. Metallics himself is going to be pushing out with more with a melee creep there. It's going to be taking out that wall. That tower not shooting anything yet, though. Maybe waiting for that wall actually to go down. Not doing anything about the economy down there. Looks like, though, Kurobi has stopped mining that source. Has that source run out of energy? No, it's at full energy. Kurobi is not mining that successfully. And Metallics is going to be pushing through. Kurobi not reacting. It looks like his bot might have stalled. Kurobi has obviously hit some kind of error here, maybe. His creeps are just not moving. They're not reacting at all. Oh, and what a very unfortunate way for Kurobi-san to end this match. But it looks like, unfortunately, he has some unresolved bug that he wasn't catching here. And Metallics look like he's going to be able to push through, take out the spawn, and take the win there. What an unfortunate end for Kurobi, and congratulations to Metallics on the bronze medal there. On the gold medal, sorry, I think that was, yeah. Sorry, that was the gold medal. My apologies. Congratulations to Metallics on the gold medal, and congratulations to Kurobi-san on the silver medal. Very unfortunate that the bots seem to have crashed there. I guess it demonstrates that even with all this very well-tested code and with high-level players, still you can sometimes get errors you just don't expect. And thank you all very much for being here. Unless 04 is about to scream something at me, I believe that is all of the matches for today. And I'm going to put the promo code back on the screen soon. Back on the screen for you here. and we'll be signing off in a minute. And thank you very much for listening, and I welcome any feedback, comments, and suggestions. The best way to reach me is through Discord. My name on the Discord is Synaptic Purifier. And, well, thank you very much, and have a great rest of your day, and we'll be back for the last of the 3 live streams.